What's up, everybody? We are now live. Friday. Welcome back to the Policing Pips lobby. I'll be your host, as always, Policing Pips. I am here for this Friday session. Unfortunately, we did not have a stream yesterday, but we are back in action. Let me close this blind a little bit because it's a little washy. Slightly. A little better lighting. A little bit. There I go. I'm not as washed out, a little bit, but it's all right. Good morning, Scrooge. How are we doing today? We are going to be kind of opening around this overnight low. Could give us a nice opportunity early for that rotation. However, this is that big purple box here is that gap open from Sunday. I wanted to kind of point out something that I noticed here when I was looking at the longer term chart. You can see this downward channel here that we're looking at, this down channel that we have been in since the CPI high that we put in from all the way back when that CPI number came out, right? That's where that top of that channel is. So we've been in a downtrend ever since. Last night on the overnight, we did push up over that 544 number that I been talking about for the week, right? You can see this gap open. That's Sunday's gap open, same as what's on my other chart. We rotated straight up into the top of that channel, right? So it rejected like beautifully, right? This is a 30-minute chart. Rejected off that top, created a little bit of a basing pattern up here, and then reversed off of that. So if you kind of saw that coming on the overnight, if you traded somewhere in that 3:30 in the morning time frame, this was a good opportunity for rotation back the other direction. If you see on a smaller time frame, like a 5-minute, you can see how it ran its head into resistance, bang, 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 and then rotated off of that. Currently, we've rotated back inside of this gap down, right? So, does the market want to be lower for the week? Possibly. Or does it just want to remain within this range for the rest of the day? Or, at least give us an opportunity to maybe wick the bottom here, trap some people trying to get short to rotate this down, and then we can get that overnight low long to rotate us back up into that 500 area where, it's a 100-point move. It's not crazy whippy. That's a good thesis to have here. So just something to keep in mind. If we do want to continue down, we are, like I said, we butt our head off the top of that channel, right? And now we are in a downtrend. So a crack and break of the low of the day could lead to that break, retest, rotate down to 277. I thought that 277 was going to be pretty important this weekend. It has been over the course of a few days. So I don't really trade the opening range box that I draw up per se. I just use it to tell me that there's either bullish behavior or bearish behavior on the day, right? A lot of times it likes to hold one of the sides. I will use it in that manner. Let's say if I draw up that 1-minute opening range box, I just want you to note that that's where we opened on the day. It's more of like just a reference point. But let's say we open and we get right here and we're sitting on top of the overnight low, right? And I'm playing for my fade, a breakdown of the overnight low, and the opening range, is tight to it, or maybe it's up here somewhere, and we break down through here and come back to retest that box. It's something that I'm going to note for myself as something that might become reactive. It might be some location. Let's say the opening range is 400 is the low, the high is 410, something like that. I sweep my overnight low, I get my long, I'm in quick, things start working in my direction. I may be a bit quicker to pull my profits, take my profits, use that as a target, or I may use that as a trailing stop location for where I'm coming up to, just because that's the location that I want to see reaction, right? Usually it'll hold either the top or the bottom of that opening range, and it'll give us that opportunity to kind of see that. I don't have the S&P, gap. I would like to have that as reference, so just let me put that on here before we get the open of the day going. Alrighty, 30 minutes. Where's that gap at? Sunday. Monday was the 5th, 6th, so it's the 4th into the 5th. Right here. There it is. Okay. I just want to have this up here as a reference point because the S&Ps will react to that. If we are going to be inside of that as well. So Alrighty, we'll go back to the 1 minute here. So we are holding below that, right? You can see that that's a reference point for us to note. Same deal here. We got about 3 minutes till the open. If anybody has anything that they're looking at that they want to see, NVIDIA is rolling downside a bit. We are below the 106.24, that key level that we've been kind of reacting with this week as well. If we do start to rotate down to 101.54, there could be a bounce down there. Or yesterday's sort of bounce point towards the end of the day was 104 even. So watch out for 104 even on NVIDIA. That's actually the overnight low, the pre-market low as well. So 104.10, we'll call it for the overnight low, pre-market low for NVIDIA. I'll look at Microsoft real quick, kind of catching a spot where it could bounce at 403.60-ish, 403.50, down to 402, and then 401.60 is the pre-market low in Microsoft. All right, we are 2 minutes, a minute and a half away from open here. Get your ducks in a row. Look for what kind of options we have, right? I need this sweep of the overnight low. Maybe we start to break out. We do have a tighter range, so either end could kind of come into play. If the previous day low does come into play, that means that we started selling off through the overnight low, and I may look to take the short down through it if it tells me that it's heavy, if we get some confirmation on that sell side pressure. But as of right now, we are just watching this to see what happens at the open. I don't really have any bias either way, right? We're in the middle of that gap down range, so it could go straight up, it could go straight down, it could just chop around in here for a bit. It could use this as a trapping pattern, right? We talked about this a few times this week, right? Where it does something like this. It either will push up immediately to trap some longs to stop them out below the low, which could give us that ideal setup, right? This would be, if something like this happens off the jump where we go straight up here, come into here, then start to fail it, get down, sweep these lows, set up on like a wedge pattern, and then start to work our way back up. That could lead us into this level here. If we push straight down now that be the same thing, right? Sweep down first, immediate breakdown, and then do the same deal, but then expect a failure to the downside, right? That's the thoughts you have to have behind your trades and the ideas that you're having within that. All right, let's see if this will show us anything on the delta, kind of just flat there on the delta. I do have Top Step TV on in the background so I can hear any sort of announcements that they may have. Market's now open, pushing up. Like I mentioned, that first piece of pressure could lead to that pop, right? Look for that to happen. And then we sweep back down through the low, right? You trap some longs there. You sweep this. You break this down. You sweep this low through the overnight low. Watch for the failure of the overnight low to, maybe time that with a failure of the S&P overnight low. I feel like S&Ps will be a little reactive to the bottom end of this gap. Maybe lead us downside. Maybe pull this with it. If not, if we're going to continue straight up, then watch for the S&P to pull straight up. NVIDIA is kind of doing a little dance with 105.50. It ticked up over it, and now it's pushing down. If NVIDIA can sweep that 104.10, that market pre-market low, that may give us that setup, right? Where I talked about, this is pretty much exactly what I was looking for there. I talked about it a few times this week, right? Where we go up here, we come down, we sweep this low, we do something down here, maybe a consolidated wedge, maybe just an immediate pop. It could be just 2 candles, 3 candles, 1 candle breakdown. And then we start to push into these highs. So let's see if that'll work out or if it's going to be something different, right? See if this traps some longs. Even it could get it being higher. It could get all the way up into the top of this purple box for it to still be a trap, right? It could still do that trappy behavior, especially with NVIDIA being a little heavy right now. It is selling kind of immediately right off the jump here. I mean, it's dancing around, like I said, with the 105.50, so it's not like a heavy seller, but it wicked up, did the pullback. Now it's trying to push back up again. Microsoft is pushing up right off that 403.62, kind of as I anticipated with that level that we opened at, 403.62, kind of running into some resistance from yesterday, so could rotate down like it is now currently. It's just a patient type day. Friday's very patient. Just be here, ready to pounce if you do get your opportunity. If nothing comes to you, you don't have to force it. It is Friday. You don't want to be just doing things just to do it, going into the weekend doing dumb shit. You don't do dumb shit on a Friday, especially because you have the whole weekend to sit there and think about all the dumb shit that you did on Friday that you could have just not done, right? My thing is just being patient. We're going to wait. We're going to see what happens. If we get to the overnight highs or the previous day highs, right, in that area, we can look for the same opportunities to the short side, right? Because we do have overhead resistance. I think realistically that, that 617, 600 to 617 in that range there could be a good trap for people to go long, trying to get that overnight high, never quite make it there, and then rotate back down. But as I mentioned, I wanted to see if this would push up, trap some longs, sweep them out, grab. So now that this has got people long, where would they put their stops? They'd put their stops here, here, and here. So probably look to see if you'll get a nice little break and sweep, right, where it goes break, 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 and then you get this kind of move, right? That's the kind of move I want to see. If we get that same set, like if this entire thing plays out down to here and then we start to approach this, how do you not execute that, right? How do you not take that chance at being able to limit your risk, being able to take your execution as you drew it up, as you kind of see fit? Could this easily break down, rotate, retest, and then just continue straight downside? It could. That's totally possible. But I'm not, not going to take my failed breakdown level just because, right? Like I said, we have down to 277. So this could just go straight down and break and then never come back, and we don't have an entry. Maybe I take that first breakout, right, of the overnight low, this next retest of it, and then you just trail it super tight, catch a break of that, see if you can get it down into that from like 80 down to 40. That's 40 points right there. And then start to rotate it back up. Maybe 60, 80 to 60. I still think that that's an area that's interesting. This is not, still not rolling over. NVIDIA did hold that 105 level. It went right down to 105 and bounced off of it. I'm going to leave this drawing up here because realistically, if it doesn't do this, if it just goes straight up, I'm going to set a different idea up as I go there, right? So this is not anything that's perfect, anything that's going to happen. It's just my thesis on how price action could act in this area based on some of the other setups that we saw this week working out, right? This was kind of the exact same thing that we saw earlier this week. I posted it on Instagram. I talked about it in here a couple times, right, where we had a little bit of a downtrend, leading into the day. We had this type of setup. We pushed up. We got longs involved. We broke those stops because if you're thinking about this as a person who has larger size to fill, who maybe wants to take it longer with some size, you now have the ability to run a stop here, run a stop there, run a stop there. Those are all sellers. And then there may be sellers waiting at the overnight low, so that it will give you that explosive, that better push down through that overnight low so you can accumulate as many buys as you want. Because the only way for a seller to sell, there has to be a buyer. And the only way for there to be a buyer, right, a bigger buyer, they need sellers. So their job is to accumulate as many orders as possible. And this is where a lot of these small fish live, right? They hide right underneath structure points as areas of stop losses. So if they're going to try and accumulate without trying to just break it out, if they can, in this whole purple zone, it's a good accumulation zone, right? It's an area where there wasn't a ton of orders, but there's now a lot of interest because of the gap. So there could just be accumulating all the way through, and this could just break and go, right? Especially with the S&Ps kind of lingering on the bottom of it. So this is not like a perfect idea or anything like that, but it is something that could happen and how it has happened multiple times this week. So we will do this. What's right here? There's your opening range there for the NQ. Scrooge was asking about that. Like I said, I just basically use that as a reference point. Nothing more, nothing less. Some people do play the breaks of these. Like if it's going to break one direction or the other, a lot of time with the S&Ps, the S&Ps is a little bit more respectful to the levels. If it's going to hold an opening range on either direction, then potentially it's going to hold it and never come back to that low or never come back to that high once it actually picks a direction. So if it leaves that low or that high at an area, that's a good indication that it's going to trend that direction for the remainder of the day, right? So if we kind of can't hold this top here, then anticipate something where we get this sell-off to come kind of quick. This is the idea of that. Like I said, I think that's more likely to occur. If you ever have, you're still in that learning phase, Scrooge. So you're still kind of trying to find what that perfect ideal strategy is for you. Like I said, I'm trying to stick to one strategy and one strategy only. I do have a lot of setups within that kind of strategy. So it's kind of hard to just make it so you can understand the whole thing, within just like a couple days. I am going to be teaching at the boot camp, the 30-day boot camp. August 26th and 27th are my days. So be sure to sign up for the boot camp if you need the link. I do have it somewhere in the alerts. Copy the link. You do have to have a 6-month membership to get access to the boot camp. My code, Policing Pips, works on all memberships. So if you are a monthly member and you need 10% off, or if you want to get 10% off for the monthly memberships, sign up with my code. Click that link, see what you can get out of it. Like I said, I think that 30-day boot camp is going to be phenomenal. It's going to be a lot of really good traders. 10 of us are going to be teaching that course over the course of 30 days. And it's going to be just all the knowledge you could possibly want to get out of people. You're going to get it right there in the boot camp. So like I said, if you need a 6-month membership, if you're a free member, you'll still have access to my room, but you won't have access to the boot camp. Monthly members won't either. You need to have a 6-month, yearly, or a lifetime membership for that to be something that you can get involved in. So take advantage of that 10% off code. It's going to start Monday. So Deck, I believe, is the teacher that starts Monday. Let me see who's teaching Monday. Yeah, Deck is going to kick us off. Deck and AK, they're going to be the first two. Those are going to be the ones that you definitely do not want to miss right off the jump. That's going to set the tone early for the boot camp. So just be on there. Make sure you get involved. Sign up for that 6-month membership and get yourself access to that boot camp. 30 days, 10 different mentors, so many different strategies and ideas and we've all had so many different types of trading experiences, but much of it is the same, and you're going to get a lot of reiteration and a lot of good opportunity to learn and grow, right? So in the YouTube chat, I pinned to the top, it's the link that I made a blog post about the 30-day boot camp. It is at daytradingcoffeeco.com. You can see it right here. Copy link. It is going to give you that's a weekly analysis. This one here, the 30-day boot camp. I'm waiting for this. I'm kind of just distracting you a bit. For me, this is that trap. I'm still waiting for that trap to kind of come into play. NVIDIA broke out above 106.24 and is failing it, but now is rotating right back through it. So it pushed up through that level pretty explosively. Pushed up, failed it, and is now trying to hold below, but you can see it's having a nice little dance with that area. Could this be, if we break through this high, then I think we continue to trend. But if we don't, if we continue to fail it, watch out to see if that low will get swept so they can trap you and try and rotate it back higher with more orders. And then that's when you get that next break, when you do break it the second time or the third time, right? That push through is kind of where you want to see that previous day high break and all that kind of stuff. So we're back in the opening range. Price has gone nowhere yet today. We're going to try and break through this box. I'm not the one to tell you to front run your levels. Some people front run me. Some people talk. I have a really good feel for kind of how this market works, right? I've kind of talked about this trappy upward behavior. It's the NASDAQ. So getting all the way up into VWAP made a lot of sense there. To reject that VWAP, the VWAP bounce, if you will, and the rotation down through this crack, right? Now you're at the base of this trend line. So what's the confluence you have here? You're at the bottom of the opening range. You're at the base of this trend line. If the trend line does give up and starts to flush through this low, this wick at 45, 46, if you start to break through this low, expect this to move quickly through these levels, right? Because there's stops here, there's stops here, and there's stops below the overnight low. So that's going to give you that hard push through this level if it does give up, and then you're able to kind of limit your risk into the top end of 60, 65. You can rotate that down through and then look for this setup on the overnight low for that 100% A+ type deal for that sweep, right? S&P is giving you that confluence as well, broke through that low. So if this breaks through here, do you want to take that short or not, right? I could probably take it, but I'm not going to front run my levels. I'm going to see if this idea comes into play and gives me my opportunity to take my short. NVIDIA is selling a bit, so it's trying to push through 105. Let's see if NVIDIA gets through 105, then you should see this NQ finally crack this level. So what you can see, if you did want to take that there short, if you're front running, I'm not going to front run it. I'm going to stick to my strategy, right? But you should see something along these lines right here where this would work. If you can get that to break through that low, there should be stops here, and stops here. So the break should be kind of hard once you start breaking these stops, right? That's the idea. And then you're leaving the opening range here as the high of the day, right? You trapped some longs, you're sweeping shorts through those lows, getting in explosive moves. I do not look at Delta for NVIDIA. I don't know how equities react to the Delta. I think Delta is way more reactive for a futures contract than it is, because it's just really a lot of whatever you call it. The Delta is more directly correlated with the straight buyers and sellers. Everything, the NQ is all done on one exchange, the CME group, right? CME is the exchange for the NQ. So it's getting all that data straight from there. When it comes to equities, they trade on multiple different, exchanges. So it's hard to get like direct correlated order flow data from it. You can get like volume because they can see what's traded, how many shares and stuff, but it's hard to say aggressive buyers and sellers because it's all routed through different places like ARCA, NYSA, all those things like that. So see what's happening here. Let's see if this is going to give you that break, that true heavy crack. Can I take this? Potentially. Let's see what happens here. Nothing here on the news. I just want to make sure there's no news at 9. We got 15 minutes, right? You have to wait for this to break this trend line and hold it, right? You don't want it to just give you a little wick dance and go. That's not going to help you out. Yeah. Does that make sense, Ray, with the cumulative delta and that? All right. Can this be this heaviness come in here? Can we time this a little bit better? 105, give up on NVIDIA. This should give us that rotation down here. You know what? This is very clear for me as a short opportunity for you to kind of get involved. There's the breakdown now of 50. Does it get heavy fast? So here's the idea for this to kind of go on and move to the downside. Let's see if we can get this to the overnight low and this to the overnight low together. Give us that opportunity to break that back above the upside, right? So if you're thinking of this logically, if this breaks through 25.75, it'll give you a heavier flush down to the next 400 level and see what happens at 400. Do we ever get to my overnight low or not? We'll see. I did mention that this should, if this cracks, should give you a heavy move. I don't know how quickly it's going to, because NVIDIA did just break 105 and now it's getting heavy. So I would have liked to have shorted that myself. Like I said, I'm not going to deviate from my strategy. I'm going to allow my strategy to set up I have a better opportunity to make big money on that, but that could be a good opportunity here, with this happening. I need this to sweep that low. NQ is relatively strong compared to how NVIDIA is trying to roll over. You can see NVIDIA here looking like, like I said, it broke 105, gave you that heavy flush, and we didn't get the heavy flush in NQ as we would have liked, like kind of right away on that initial break. But you did get the breakdown retest. Now, does it continue to push? There's probably stops at 26. There's probably stops at 400. So that's where I would anticipate, if this is going to be a bigger buyer, that's where they want to push it down into. Do buyers front run it and continue it up? That's the question, right? You do have heavy delta pushing in. As I mentioned, there should be stops below these levels here, either 422, 400. So there's, normal size below, like the bigger orders aren't just leaning onto it. 38.75 has 35 lots, but we are pushing up now off of that. This could be the trap here, right? But it's all about timing, right? In this game, it's all about timing. Now that it has kind of came back into here, if it does fail it again, does that give me the opportunity myself to front run this now that it's giving me that trap? $430.50. What's that? $434. Yeah, it's not something. It just never got that full trap, right? This kind of seems a bit like it wanted to manipulate to the short side and then now come back up. But we're holding that opening range high for now. Does this get heavy fast now? Does this breakdown give you that opportunity to give me that short? Give it to me. Yeah, wait. That's why I said. That's why that's why I stay away from front running, honestly, most of the time. Right now, I think this could be a really good opportunity. For somebody who has a little bit wider risk, maybe the ability to kind of let this thing dance a bit. That's how you can get these front run levels to kind of work out. But this does feel like a good short down to this low, at least to 400. And then into this, like I said, I left the blue line here because I think that's the behavior that we're going to get. If we break this overnight low and just continue to sell, I have nothing. I may be able to take the retest breakdown to 77, but I need to see that V come this direction in order to be able to accept that as, maybe we'd have to get back up here. I'd have to be like stopped at break even, and then we start to continue to flush. That's the idea I would have for a break, retest, rotate back the other way. It would have to come back into 400, and that's where I want to see it, because you can see it reacting here, kind of the same deal, kind of pushing up, and you look at how deep you get through. You can get down to that 60 level pretty easily. S&P's is relatively weak, right? Below opening range, and Q above and in the opening range. NVIDIA at the low didn't quite sweep pre-market lows, never quite made it to 104.10. It's at 104.75. So I don't know if it still doesn't have downside pressure to it. It's holding below some structure. Friday's kind of end of the day lower end is 104.38. So it stopped at 104.38, which was kind of understandable. If it cracks 104.38, then maybe now we do continue, but we do have this Friday chop. Yeah, Friday chop, but then it does get directional over this summertime. It seems like that. I think we can catch up. S&P is looking like it wants to get to the overnight low. This does look like it's trying to get heavy. It's like banging its head, banging its head, banging its head. 51% long on the tilt. Now you're starting to get a break of it. You're kind of creating that little bit of a wedge. I don't see big size or anything like crazy. I do have a little bit of a higher low here in the cumulative delta. 53,000, negative 5,300. Yeah. Sort of just accumulating, right? I never said this has to be a straight line, but if this is the setup that does occur sometime around 9:30, unfortunately, like I said, I don't trade. Hopefully this doesn't set up like in a minute, because I do need to wait if it gets within that 5 minutes of that hourly close, I want to see how that hourly close sets up. So if we get to right around here at this time of the day, doesn't seem like it's going to get to my level anyway, so we should be safe. If we're doing this on the other end, we're going to kind of take a look at this resistance. The first touch of it probably gives you a failed breakout. If it comes back to it a second time, watch for that overnight high to come into play, and then you could take that kind of idea and run with it. That's on that end. So at first touch of it, I may take a quick shot at the short off the previous day high, but I'm not going to be super aggressive on it. I do think that we could just be range bound here for the rest of the day. Not necessarily within the range that we're in, but as far as, this whole purple box up into the overnight high, down to this overnight low, this could be the full range of the day just based on kind of price action. If we do crack up over 617, up to 700 for the day, could be the ultimate really push up there. 750 could be there too. 7 to 750. I got nothing for the day. Still just kind of being patient, waiting, sitting on my hands, waiting for this to show me what it wants to do. I want it to tell me NVIDIA is getting that sell side pressure again, but not breaking. If it does, like we have this low base setting up here, right? Wake up, grab some orders. Now you're pushing down. You have a basing pattern here. If that base pattern breaks to the downside, you probably get down to like 104.10 and then maybe even heavier to the downside. But then I would not necessarily trust that that's going to go much deeper than that. 103.73 is that low. So watch for that level there. 103.66 for that flush break. That's only if that breaks to the downside, right? If this basing type pattern breaks down there. S&P's attempting a retest of the opening range. Well, this is actually the bottom of the that box is, if it could even get into that gap box at 53.37.50 and reject it. Does S&P drag us lower? It feels like everything's higher probability short than it is long. But there's just some big size that just got filled at 72. Does that push us up higher, or is that going to be a seller? I need to wait and see. But it was a good 100+ contracts that got filled, 71, 72, 81. It seems like it's pushing upside now. Alrighty then. 5 minutes till the hourly close. So for me, that leads to a pause. There's the boot camp schedule. You can see that I'm in there from 26th and the 27th. If you want to get involved, make sure you get it before Monday, because AK and Deck, those first two guys, they're going to set the tone quite early, giving you tons and tons of knowledge for that boot camp. Since I am waiting this next 5 minutes for my trade to kind of build itself out, make sure you get over to the link that I posted, or if we're already in TradeCaster, if you're on YouTube, if you're in TradeCaster, go over to the pricing page. You can get yourself a 6-month or better membership. That's going to get you access to the boot camp, 30 days, 10 mentors, unlimited knowledge, right? Everything you should and could need to take this to a whole nother level, right? So we're going to get you from wherever you are to wherever you want to be over those 30 days. And I think that the value of that 6-month membership, not only do you get the 30-day boot camp, but you get the follow through afterwards, right? If you have questions of any of the mentors, anybody that's in there, most, if not all of them, are TradeCaster streamers. So you're going to be able to go over to their lobby, with that 6-month, that yearly, that annual, that lifetime membership, get into their lobby, ask them questions, follow up on more than just that 30 days. So yes, you're getting a 30-day boot camp with that 6-month membership, but you're also getting that follow through to be able to lean on these guys. They answer questions in the lobbies. Just like I answer questions in my lobby, they'll answer questions in their lobbies. And if you need access to some of these people, that's what you want to see, right? You want to get that, just get that feedback, right? You want to be able to, get his whole strategy, get Deck's entire strategy, everything he knows from A to Z, all the way through, And then, now you have a 6-month membership. You go into his room, you go into his live room, you see how he executes it. And he's not just teaching you something just to teach you and move on with his life, right? He's going to be there day in, day out. I'll be here every single day that I possibly can on my stream, doing what I do live every day. And after my boot camp, I hope that people do have questions. I hope that they do want to follow through and continue to come back here, ask questions, because I'm going to teach you everything I need to know. But people are just going to have so much information. They're going to have questions. It's just human nature, right? If you have some more coffee, I'll take some more coffee. Today's a Prop Shop Ethiopia day. I do trade prop. I trade with Top Step, so I want to, enjoy my coffee alongside that Prop Shop Ethiopia. So if you want to get some coffee, we have coffee for everybody. 10 different roasts from light to espresso. Click the link, go over there, use code PolicingPips, get yourself 15% off. Same with the boot camps. If you get a 6-month or better membership, even a monthly membership, if you sign up, use code PolicingPips, it'll get you 10% off all the memberships. You just need that 6-month or better to get involved in the boot camp. And right now, we want to get that boot camp filled up. Not a lot of spaces. So if you want to get involved, make sure you get in before the weekend, because I think there's going to be a heavy volume on the weekend of people having a hard time on a Friday or something like that, and they're going to want to load in on Monday to try and get into the boot camp, right? So think about it. Do it before people panic out and mess up their trading accounts on a Friday and have to go into the weekend thinking about it. If you're thinking about it, don't be on the fence. That value is unmatched. 30 days, 10 people, 10 guys, multimillionaire traders, guys who have done every type of trading you could ask for. Stocks, options, futures, crypto, whatever you want to learn, we got it, right? Payments are coming out of my accounts. Okay. All right, 1 minute till 9. Hopefully this gives me that nice push down through that overnight low, and then we get NVIDIA is very close to that level. That just cracked that pre-market low. I want it to break through 103.66 and then give me that wick test, right? I want a wick test at 103.66. Give me that push. It could push even into these lows, into this area, but then it wants to rotate back over 103.66. If we can get that to happen, then I would think that we can get, hopefully that didn't enter anything. There we go. Then we can get this through that overnight low finally, and then we can rotate out. That's my goal here with this trade idea. Like I said, I don't front run my levels. I'm doing my best to really be sticking to my strategies, how I've stayed profitable over these last months or so. Turning the page in mentality is the key to success for me and for most people. So if you are so inclined, wait. If you need to take that short, it's gone. If you're over on YouTube, click the like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, get alerted. We can see how my drawing is coming to fruition here a little bit. Pretty simple thought process on why this is happening. And then also why our failed breakdown strategy would make a lot of sense here. If it does get heavy and continue to be directional because it is a Friday and it just kind of catches a direction and just keeps going, then we probably never get triggered into a failed breakout, right? My A+ setup doesn't quite come in. Maybe I do get a break, retest, rotate down to 277. That's something I could be interested in as well. But, right, if you are a bigger player and you want to take this higher, and you can't find more sellers above to sell to you, right? Because up here, you probably have more buyers trying to buy. So you have a likelihood of trying to get more buyers involved or more sellers involved down below and sweeping through stops. So there's a stop here. You buy up those stops. Now you push it back lower again. You get through this low, which they just kind of did, and you buy up those stops. And then if you try your best to get through these major structure overnight low, people who are long from the overnight low probably have their stops just below the overnight low. And so thinking like a big fish, you want to see if this will come through there, sweep those, and get them involved. Unfortunately for me, NQ did not quite make it to that low when NVIDIA made it through 103.66, right? I talked about that level Drew it up for you. That's, like I said, that's probably an area where I would expect it to be reactive. That's where I would expect price to have some sort of interest to get to, which it drove right to it. And I mentioned we could still come into this lower area, this 103, before thinking about rotating down. So hopefully NVIDIA can continue to be a little heavy, get these, people involved down to 103, help our NQ trade, the NQ idea here, this grinding choppy action to, I would have preferred this to be more straight down and more of a heavy flush. The grinding price action doesn't yield good results for me. I just wanted to get through here. Then I can get a heavy flush, like I said, down to 60, maybe down to 40, and then pop. If this rotates over the opening range high, then I would watch to see if it continues to break on out. But that's just kind of where I have to wait for my levels. Why would I front run this here for a long if I think that there's more to this thesis than just sweep it quick and bounce and run? This could be the break retest of this level and then rotate. So you got to think through your trades, have an idea, plan them out so you're not surprised when things happen. I'm not surprised. I know Scott's surprised all the time, but I'm not surprised when things do happen because, I've seen it before. I've seen things like this kind of go on. Now, if you kind of anticipate the break of this, you have VWAP very close, break above this opening range high, has that resistance of VWAP overhead. You can see S&P is trying to remain strong as well. NVIDIA found that bounce point at 103.66. So if you're an equities trader and you're looking to catch bounces off of levels, I also do call out some equities trades levels. So Microsoft, NVIDIA, let's see where Microsoft's at. Is Microsoft at a sell point? Nope, still at that buy area, right? We continue to get into buy areas in the Mag 7 names. And NVIDIA, the NQ hasn't quite made it to the levels that I want it to get to for me to be interested in a buy, right? For me to really limit my risk and grab that upside potential, I want my setup to come in A+, especially on a Friday. I got to be patient for my levels to come into play. Otherwise, I'm going to just, bleed myself to death on kind of subpar entries, right? There's the rejection of VWAP potentially on the S&Ps. If not, it's going to continue to rotate through it, kind of push us up. Previous day highs is 53.60 quarters and then 53.72. So like I said, if we get into this area, previous day high, I'm going to wait for S&Ps to also kind of come into that green zone. SPY cannot get away from 530. Above it, it falls to it. Under it, it spikes back up to it. Seems like SPY likes that area, according to DEC. I haven't been looking at the SPY, but I had that SPY at request last week, last stream session. Called it out pretty spot on. So let's see if we can look at it, take a peek. I don't know what's going on here. We're right back at that sell spot too, where I talked about it the other day, where we sold off from that M pattern or whatever. Who knows? It's been holding that 528.20 level that I drew up that day too. You could see that pretty nicely. You could see that 528.20 pretty reactive for SPY. When I talked about it here. I said we're going to probably come to it and then it's going to be reactive. Obviously, it was super reactive. You broke down, retested it, and sold off the rest of the day. Came back to it, based underneath it, popped above it, retested it. Could you crack through 528.20 and retest through, sweep down to 26.40 if it does break it again? If not, if you break above this area, 531-ish up to 532.23, up to 533.23, and then maybe up into 526 for the high of the day, that would be a nice little rally on SPY if it does choose to kind of pick a direction and start running. So just note that for yourself if you are a SPY trader. NVIDIA bounced beautifully off of that 103.66. God damn, if I was still trading equities, this would have been a nice little call out there for that 103.66 bounce play. I never was able to get my NQ to trade to that level that I wanted it to get to, but you could see bounce right off of 103.66. Failed 106.24, right? So I talked about this level failing early. If you go back in the stream, I said if this kind of gives us the idea that if this comes here, you sweep the low of the day, you grab some longs, probably around that 103.66, and then watch for a rally. If it retests 106.24 again, if it's going to be a true break up to 107.71, potentially could be a good, area to target if you are looking for that. So like I said, that bounce from 103.66 allows you to limit your risk a couple pennies and then try and catch as much of this as possible. Who knows where it goes from here, but at least you got that, whole dollar in the money from there, from that bounce already. So see if we can get to it again. Maybe it'll help our NQ. Too many N's. NQ, NVIDIA, NASDAQ, S&Ps, SPYs. Need to get some information here from these charts, but we've been just hanging around the middle, right? Have not picked a direction, have not given me a chance to get an opportunity here to limit my risk, get my A+ entries, anything like that. So I just sit on my hands and I wait 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 and I wait. And I want to see if I can get, especially on a Friday. I don't want to do dumb shit on a Friday. Don't do dumb shit. Don't do dumb shit ever. But Friday is the day that you've got to hunker down, make sure that you don't do dumb shit today, because you're going to go into the weekend feeling so annoyed that you made that dumb mistake that you shouldn't have made. So if you feel like that mistake's coming on, if you feel like that, just get away from the computer, lock yourself out, do what you got to do to make sure that you're not clicking that button when you're not supposed to be clicking that button. If you see stuff start to, be funky, if you see, errors in your trading platform, if you start to see slow, laggy internet connections, if you start to get yelled at by your wife, maybe just take a walk, give yourself a second, do a little bit of soul searching, come back to the charts if you gotta, and then come from there. I'm going to delete this blue line because, it didn't happen right away. It still is what I'm looking for. So if it can get down below here, I do think that that's where the accumulation kind of stops and then a true long idea comes into play. However, I do have that in the back of my mind that if a break of this overnight low happens again, right, you get a bounce, dead cat bounce, break through the overnight low, and then a really big seller kind of push us down in through to 277. Totally plausible. But right now, I'm going to delete this blue line just because I think it's distracting more than anything. If you want to move it over, but I just don't think it's necessary right now. So I'm going to get rid of it. It's not quite playing out how I expected. On this breakdown, there's a strong buyer within here. This could be, just like I said, accumulation phase and then a rotate out. I am going to be kind of bouncing in and out. If I don't see what I want right now, I'm going to kind of go run, check on the kids, come back. So if you have any questions, type them in the chat. I'll be here, coming in and out, checking, making sure everything is good. Just be mindful of what I was talking about, how we did get this to try and accumulate, push down. You're getting a, tighten pattern here where it's either going to hold and break and then you're going to get an explosive move, or you're going to start to fail it and rotate down. NVIDIA is trying to build back up. So NVIDIA trying to get up over 105, pushed up to 105.02, and now it's pushing up 105.10, 20, 30. There's a squeeze on NVIDIA. So there's that tightening of price action, explosive move out. If I had a bigger buffer, right, I'm still working on building these funded accounts slowly but surely to kind of limiting my risk on a lot of these trades, sticking to purely A+ strategies. I could start to use some of this really, really tight intra-position order flow ideas as good ways to kind of just be in and out quick. Understanding, watching this, tighten up. If you watch, if you were, somebody who's looking to do some sort of tight scalpy stuff or looking for really good entries on something like this, you see you're holding the open range high, you see you're tightening up below VWAP. If you are somebody who's looking for how is this going to work on an entry, you're watching NVIDIA, it does the same thing. It tightens up and then immediately pushes to 105. Once it pushes 105, you can see it squeeze out of 105 and this lag just a bit. You can trade NVIDIA by using the NASDAQ chart. You know what I mean? So If that is confusing to you, or if it's something that you want me to kind of go through a little bit more in detail, then let me know. I will do that for you, kind of just understanding just pure price action, pure order flow type moves. I'm watching this delta. I'm watching for some order flow on the books. I want to see if there's bigger size kind of popping in and out, which I don't see. Kind of just normal price action currently, nothing dragging price in either direction. Nothing flat, anything that does flash, it flashes and disappears. It's not, great. There's somebody sitting up above now, 40 lot at 550. So 550's got a 40 lot up there. There we go. So now we're looking to see, this was a good accumulation here with this stop here. They wicked this stop, came right down to here, structure point at 400. I guess they front ran 400, and now you can see pushing up on side. I did mention that 400 was probably going to be an area where if there was stops, it would flush harder. Obviously, people did not want it to get down through 400 to get it to rally up. So now we're going to wait, and we're going to see, does this do what we wanted to do at the previous day high, right? I mentioned the first few reactions to it in the past have been sells. You can sell off of here once, twice. There's right there. You got once, twice, then the third time breakout, right? So watch out for that. I think that pretty much gives us the opportunity to, if S&Ps can get to that level, same type of deal, right? Sold here, trapped some longs and sold off hard there. So there is very much a lot of reaction at the previous day high, that 53.60 quarters on the S&Ps, and at 18,593.50 on the NQ. If we push up over 106.24 in NVIDIA, I don't know if I trust it to fail. So just be careful on that. Watch high of the day at 106.62. I'm going to sit here and wait. I like this long here. Like, this is exactly what I wanted to see. It just never got to my level to allow me to get an entry. If I kind of thought through this 400 front run, maybe that made sense, but I didn't trust that this wasn't just going to be a, trap and then get me to my actual entry point, right? This is the things that you got to think of. Sometimes trades go. They just don't get to your levels. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't. Could this, you got to think through all the options as you're reading the tape. If you wanted to front run, let's say you wanted to get involved in a zone. You wanted to get involved from pretty much 409 down through the overnight low at 383. If this thesis that I drew up, obviously you can see it worked. It never made it to my entry. But if you wanted to start to scale in, you go to micros and you just start entering, quarter pieces at a time, as you start to hit off on your levels. Maybe you enter 2 micros, then you enter 2 micros again below 400, then you enter 2 micros again as you get your setup. And then maybe you enter, if it gets through and then it gets above here, you enter 2 more micros back above, and you get yourself to full size at, 10 micros or whatever it would be for one full contract. And then you can get in and maybe be able to catch a little piece of this with 2 micros, because you only got filled with 2 of them, or maybe you go a little bit bigger, 3 micros or whatever you decide here. This could be it, because really your risk is down below 60, right? That's where you kind of feel like your risk is down below 60. So whatever that position size is, to be able to only risk your dollar amount down to 60, you can scale into these positions. That's kind of how that works as well. So these are the things, if you want to start building your own strategy amongst things. I limit my risk by just not entering away from my levels. And you can limit your risk if you want to not miss out on some of these moves that happen day in and day out. Wait, draw it up as a zone. Like I normally I have these as zones. I don't have them drawn up as zones. I just have them in my head, right? From 409 down to 383. You could start to scale in. Maybe not on Apex, because Apex doesn't allow DCA, dollar cost averaging, they call it, even though it's trading. It's trading in a zone. They may deny you a payout if they see that you're just buying into a level. But if you're on Top Step, they don't have that rule. You can do it as much as you want. So note that. So now with this idea here, do I trust this now to be a long again through the overnight low? I don't know for sure, right? Because we hit off on 544 again. 544. I talked about this multiple times. That dotted line, 18544. Get above that, rotate down. Does that now fail 544 and rotate all the way down to 277? That is my question, right? Does that big push up grab that order flow there, try and push close to the previous day high, never quite make it, and then rotate back down through? Does that next touch of the overnight low actually just give you a true flush? Is that a good breakdown point, right? Because we've already broke low of the day at that point. Then you're going to go breaking overnight lows. You're getting a lot of confluence in that push down. While I kind of sit here and wait, I'm going to go run, check on the kids 2 seconds, and then I'll be right back, okay? Yep, she's going to doctor. She'll be back in a little bit. That's right. Alrighty. Also, noting that this, I'm sorry, the purple box, the big purple box that you see here is the gap from Sunday, right? Everybody that's been trading or has been coming, if you just started trading or just started tuning in, and you totally did not see what happened Friday into Sunday open and then into Monday morning, this is that purple box that's on those two charts, the S&Ps and the NQ, is this big purple box here that's Sunday gap open. Obviously, we rotated down below it and kind of pushed. We've been reactive to that area quite a bit, and now we're kind of sitting on top of it, looking to kind of rotate off of it. Are we going to break and continue higher? Are we going to stay within it? Are we going to rotate down 277, down even into these ranges here with a further breakdown, trying to hold these levels here? So that's what I'm looking at when you see those purple boxes on the chart. This is a 5. I want to see it on 30. I do like to leave this on a 30-minute because it tells a different story to me, right? This kind of tells me a rejection of the low, pushing it to 544. If 544 fails and holds, and then you start to continue to push into the lows here, it does get concerning for me to play a failed breakout. I will still wait for that setup, but I'm not going to just hammer into it just to do it, right? I need it to tell me that it's going to reverse. I need it to tell me that it wants to do that. Sitting right here on VWAP, kind of rotating off of it, watch for it to push into the opening range high. See if it'll reject that opening range high. So Scrooge was asking before the open, when I draw these opening range boxes here, like how do I use them? I mentioned to him I don't take those trades per se. That's not my setup, right? My setup isn't taking breakouts or whatever from the opening range, but it does give me good indication of targets. Let's say like I said, if the overnight low does fail and I start to rotate back up to the opening range low, I may start to see a lot of reaction here for a retest, break back down. So I may trail my stop faster to that location, use it as a target. I may use it to understand, is it bullish or bearish relative to the S&Ps, right? Right now, both the S&P and the NQ are holding above the VWAP, holding above VWAP, holding above opening range, holding above opening range. So they're acting kind of together. There's not a lot of divergence there. When it comes to the Russell is holding below the opening range. So that is telling us that the small caps are a bit weaker compared to the large cap names, right? Money's kind of diverged a little bit out. And if the Russell starts to pop up and you start to see money flowing into the small caps, you might start to see the rotation down and out of the NQ and S&Ps. Unless they all start working together, then you're going to see just a rally kind of for the rest of the day. This is the area where I said, don't do dumb shit. You can see what Deck just posted in our chat. He's up 330. The SPY is choppy. Any green is green, right? He worked for 45 minutes, made 330. Not a bad day at work at all. That's somebody who does this day in, day out, who makes thousands of dollars a day. You guys got to learn to be content with what the market's going to give you on that particular day. Limit your risks and try your best to execute only your best strategies. Still here, still waiting, still being patient, right? Price is not giving you a lot of big movement here. Yes, there's opportunities to move, like go long, right, off of 400. If you're, like I said, if you're a zone trader and you're looking to kind of just leverage into areas and zones, that's one thing. If you're somebody like me who's kind of being a little more precise, looking for very, obvious, clear-cut, explosive areas, that's what I would just sit on my hands to limit my risk. Nvidia's dead center of the, the range from the pre-market. That's a nice lower high, trying to break above that gap, that bullish area, that 544. 544 again, right? We held below it. If you're over on YouTube, click that link that I posted in the chat. It is the link to get yourself a 6-month membership to TradeCaster, or more, or worse, monthly. Monthly won't get you access to the boot camp, but the 6-month or better membership gets you access to the boot camp, and also then 6 months, obviously, of TradeCaster. So once you do go through that boot camp, you go through that 30 days, 10 different traders, you'll have access to all of them for the next 6 months. And then obviously until you cancel your membership, you'll have access to really see these strategies, the ability for these traders, including myself, to teach you everything we need to know, everything you need to know, everything we've learned over the years, like over my last 7 years of being involved in markets. Deck's been involved for 10 years, AK, all these guys have just all this knowledge. You can pick apart all of our mistakes from the years and learn from our mistakes, learn from our insights. And then after those 30 days, you have access to all the paid rooms, all the education, everything you need to follow up and, build those habits and build that good foundation to allow yourself to never have to, overwhelm yourself with any more learning as far as like boot camps and stuff are concerned. You can just take your boot camp, your 30-day boot camp, but you get way more in that membership, right? So, it may seem like a little bit pricey for just a boot camp or whatever, or just that 6-month membership, but you're getting so much value out of it. You have that 6-month membership so you can follow up and do all that stuff. And I did mention anybody who does sign up, I posted in the chat over on YouTube and on TradeCaster, the Day Trading Coffee Co. blog I wrote about the mastermind and everything. If you sign up for a 6-month membership and come to the boot camp, or sign up for the boot camp, 6 month or whatever, a yearly, lifetime. If you sign up for any of those memberships and you use code PolicingPips, I will send you a free bag, 12-ounce bag of coffee, roast of your choice, and you could choose a mug, and I'll probably throw in a shirt as well if you really want to dabble in a shirt as well. So I'll let you pick of those things. Every single person who signs up with the code PolicingPips, I will give you that along with your boot camp. So you'll get your boot camp, you get your trading fuel, you get to learn from the best, and you get to at least have a free trial and a mug, maybe a don't do dumb shit mug for those of you who can't help yourself from doing dumb shit, or this one right here that we're rocking today, the bullish on caffeination main logo there. If that's something you guys are interested in, make sure you comment, make sure you send out make sure you let me know that you click the link at least. If you do use my code, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, let me know. I do have access to answer, so you can hit me up on Twitter, X, whatever. You can DM me at PolicingPips. You can message me here in Tradecaster. You can message me there. I'll answer everybody in Tradecaster. And on Instagram, I'm at Policing Pips, and I'm also at Day Trading Coffee Co. Also in that, this 30-day boot camp, I give every little breakdown of everybody who's going to be teaching, all that fun stuff. And then at the bottom, if you have a question, you can click and type it in here, and I will respond to that via email. So just fill out that box. If you have any questions about the boot camp, if you have any questions about memberships, if you have any questions about, or if you did sign up and say, hey, send me a message in here. I signed up for a 6-month membership. I signed up for a lifetime membership, a yearly membership. I need my shirt, my mug, and my coffee. Send me this message here so I know that you did it and what coffee roast you like, whole bean, ground, anywhere from light roast all the way up to dark roast, which mug you like, and what your shirt size is, and I will make sure I get that done for you. All right. Still waiting for price to do something that I like. Personally, like we're sitting on top of this trend line. Yes, we broke down of it once, failed to break down, swept that high again. If you start to accept back into the opening range, rotate back down through. Some people use that 15-minute opening range, so that would be 45 right here. So the high of that 15-minute opening range is there. This is the 15-minute opening range high, and the 15-minute opening range low would be down in this range here. Actually, technically, it would be the low of this. So, that white line would be those 15-minuters if they're looking for that breakout of that 15-minute opening range, which they failed, right? Everything is relative to what you like to do and what makes you feel the most comfortable, what gives you the most information to be repeatable on a day-to-day basis, right? You can see how we ran into this and now we're bouncing, right? This is just continue to bounce, but also we're right at that opening range high, right? So the opening range high acted as a bounce point. Does that 15-minute one give you that same reaction? Sort of, because right here you flush through it, you come back, and you retest it. Now you rotate back down off of it. I'm just thinking through trade ideas, any sort of information that I can give to you. Like I said, next week starts that boot camp. I would sign up ASAP if you do want to get involved. If you don't have a Tradecaster membership, now's the time to join. We do have that 10% offer, obviously, and then you get the value of the boot camp on top of your membership. So it's not just the membership that you are getting. You're getting all the value that comes with that boot camp from every single trader that is going to be teaching during that event. So sign up, grab your 6-month membership or better, get to the boot camp, get your notebook out, and learn as much as you possibly can. So you can just refresh it. You get that 6-month membership. Follow up with the trader that you had a question for. Follow up with Deck. Follow up with AK. Follow up with Caesar. Come over to my room. Follow up with me, Mo. Anybody. Follow up with the traders, because that boot camp, yes, it's 30 days. You're gonna get basically more days with Deck, a little less days with me. A little bit of dynamic working boot camp, but you're going to get all the information that's going to make you a better decision on. And then let's say you watch Deck and you really like the way he trades SPY and his levels and his trend line stuff, but you'd prefer to trade futures, so you go pick on Caesar or My Mind, right? Because you want to learn how to kind of adapt Deck's ideas and Deck's strategy to a futures market. That's where you're going to start to get a little bit of everything, right? So now you're getting a breakdown of that trend, pushing back into that 1-minute opening range. We have gone nowhere on the day. So this is now no man's land, right? We're in that opening range. Does it reject the top end of the opening range, or do we flush to break through the low and start to push in? I know, like I said, I'm not interested until I get into that, overnight low. I would love this to be failed break of this gap, failed break of the gap, failed break of the gap. If we could do that like 3 times today, that'd be nice, because then we can get an opportunity to rotate this back to that side, 383 to 503. Can I hold it that long? It just depends on how fast price action moves. If I can get a move like this, you could technically trail that out pretty cleanly. So it's up to you to decide what you want to do. NVIDIA is pushing back down to 103.66. So NVIDIA helping out the cause here. If it does flush 103.66, this is the second bounce. It does have room to go down to 103 even. So, don't if you are an NVIDIA trader, I don't know if it's going to necessarily bounce directly off this level or not. It just swept the low of pre-market, the pre-market low of 104.10. Come on, flush the low, get down to the overnight low. Do me a favor, do me no favors. You know what I mean? How you doing? How you doing? Anybody that is here for the first time in Tradecaster, don't be afraid to say what's up. We do have some good conversation when people are making some money out here. Like I said, we are sitting on our hands. I have not executed any trades. You can see on the top of the screen, I have zeros across the board, have nothing that I've executed. If you watch from the beginning of the stream, you can see very choppy. It's kind of, as I mentioned, on a day-to-day basis. You have to understand what type of day it's going to be as you come into the day, right? Note what kind of data releases. Note how price has acted all week, right? Understand some sort of news, all that kind of stuff kind of plays into the dynamics of the week and how price is probably going to act. This is still a summer month trading session. August tends to be a slower trading month leading into it. We are in an election year. What kind of news can start driving this market in and out and up and down? You know, those are the kinds of things you have to think about, right? What is telling this market what it needs to do today, right here, right now? We're day traders. We need to know what the sentiment is for the day. We've had a lot of big swinging moves, reversal, move up, move down, big hundreds of point swings. Does it need a rest day? Is it a Friday? Are there a lot of participants? How's the volume looking? You know, are we rotational? Is this going to flush and continue? If it does get down through there, is this a accumulation, right? Is this the opposite end of the trap that I was talking about? Right? If I'm talking about that trap where I wanted to see this price action do that, right? If I wanted to see price action do this, right? This is what I talked about earlier. I wanted to see that happen and go upside. So now does this, where we trap short, sweep that high? Now you have all those shorts. Does that now lead to the heavy flush down to 277, right? So this is my thinking through that end of it. And if this fails to break down here, then now I have my opportunity to at least take it maybe even into that 455. If not, if it continues to rotate up, top end of the purple box once again. And if that fails to break down, then you get the same sort of, you know, sideways choppy day. You know, these are the thoughts that you want to have. What made the trade like this happen, right? You got a push up, you got a failed breakdown, you kind of trap some shorts, not enough of them, to place stops above the high. They place their stops above the high. You run those stops, you accumulate all of those longs. You have somebody to sell to finally. Now you can actually sell and make a good push and pressure down into 60, 40s, 20s, 300, 277. That is the idea of what this is, right? This is the trap here. This is the sweep, the stops. This is accumulation. This is a failed break. Now this is a rotation back the other way. If you break this level here, now there'll be stops there to possibly buy into, right? My kids are yelling at me. Give me 1 second. I will be right back. I want to make sure that they're doing all right. The wife's ran out for this last second. What's up, Max? What are you saying? I'm on the computer. You want to see me on the TV? sometimes you got to put the stream on in the other room so the boys can watch it while you are in here in the office. So this is trading with a family, understanding that there are more responsibilities, understanding how that you can balance this life, amongst having kids, having a job, having all that. So like I mentioned, if you are on the YouTube, if you're on Tradecaster, hit the like. Tradecaster, I think there's a rating system. Once you get off the stream, don't be afraid to give your boy some 5-star ratings. Subscribe. We do have to get subscribers up in there, so hit that subscribe button on Tradecaster. I think it's on the top somewhere. I'm not certain exactly where it is in the grand scheme. Once again, kind of just lingering in this area, not much going on, waiting for this to finally give me that breakdown into that overnight low, give me the opportunity to try and get a trappy, trap some shorts. I want to get, you probably could catch an easy 20 points from the low to 400, and hopefully if it gets back over 400, could squeeze us back to the high side. And that's really what I'm anticipating for my idea for my normal A+ failed breakdown strategy here. Sweep this low. I would love to see it kind of get down here, hold for a candle or two, maybe even give me that wedge pattern that I love so much to rotate us back higher. What is that SPY doing? Not quite near that 528 level, so still coming to the downside, but not pushing super heavy. NVIDIA pushing down towards that 103.66 again. As I mentioned, I think it does have down to 103, and that could potentially help us. Could. If you're new to the stream, if you're in the YouTube, hit the like, subscribe. Join over on Tradecaster.com. We are going to be doing that 30-day mastermind starting on Monday, starting with Deck on Monday. 10 different traders, 30 days, all of everybody's knowledge that you could possibly want and need for elevating your trading, be it you're brand new, come on in. If you've been trading for a while and you've struggled here and there, up and down some, it's going to be for you. That's probably, the most valuable right there. If you are profitable and you just want to add pieces to your puzzle, also a good plan to come in there and try and find another asset class or something that you really want to trade that's going to give you more opportunities to make big money decisions, right? So all we're doing here is providing as good a value as possible. And I think Deck did a great job setting up this boot camp. Filling up the seats would be a fantastic thing to do early. So I would get on it, because if people are making bad decisions on the weekend, they're probably going to panic in and buy a seat, which is a 6-month membership or better on Tradecaster.com. Use my code PolicingPips, get yourself 10% off. That gets you 6 months. And then also, if you do a 6-month membership, if you get a yearly, obviously you get a year and more, lifetime, full-time access, right? All those things get you the access. Once that boot camp is done, that 30 days is done. If you still have questions, if you want to follow up with some of these traders that are going to be on there, most of everybody that has been selected is a streamer on Tradecaster. So you'll be able to come into the rooms and pick their brains and get more information about and then just see, okay, did he teach me something that he doesn't actually do? Or did he, and you're going to actually start to see that everything that they're teaching you, everything that I'm going to be teaching you, I do on a day-to-day basis. And it's really just an accumulation of knowledge over a period of time that you're paying to accelerate your learning curve. I know a lot of these, billionaire people, stuff like that, they talk about paying for people's experiences so they don't have to experience it themselves. So that's what you're paying for, right? You're paying to accelerate your learning curve by not having to make the dumb mistakes, by not having to do dumb shit, right? To avoid doing dumb shit, DDDS, as we say in this room, don't do dumb shit. You need to learn from people who have already done those things, and then just don't do what they did, and start to accelerate your growth, accelerate everything that you want to do, and grow yourself. And by taking that first step, getting over to Tradecaster, becoming a Tradecaster member, getting that boot camp, and starting to learn real profitable trading habits. And what it comes down to is building habits day in, day out, right? For me, the habit of not doing dumb shit is by not executing in this chop. I'm not playing in this. This is not fun to execute in, to trap yourself short or trap yourself long, or get involved thinking that the breakout's finally coming and it fails again, right? I'm looking for my level, overnight low, previous day high, overnight high. I'm waiting for something to tell me, make a decision here, do it now, right? What's up, Max? You want to come on the stream or you got to go to the bathroom? What? Go ahead, go. As I mentioned, a lot of what I see here is this was that trap to try and sweep and grab some, maybe sweep 400. That'd be really nice. That sweep of 400 probably gets our overnight low tagged. Then we can make a decision. I would like it to get into that 60s. If price could get to like a hard push to 60 and then immediately fail it, that's where I would get my best risk to reward. If we get not as deep to 60, it doesn't have to get all the way to 60. It just has to break through the overnight low. I have to see something telling me that it's going to start to turn and fail, because a lot of like a good volume break acceleration is going to, maybe lead to actual follow through in the breakout or breakdown. We are dead center, middle of this gap range. We're right. S&P's is in the opening range, just sitting on the high end of it. NQ is sitting on the low end of the opening range. Hello, Maximus. Are you watching me? My boys are watching the stream in the other room, so I'm babysitting by streaming. Learn that trick. Learn the tricks of the trade there. He thinks it's funny. I can hear him laughing in the other room. Does anybody have anything that they're looking at? Excuse me. Sorry. Talking a lot is getting going. Can anybody see the reasoning why I'm sitting on my hands, getting, not just hammering into buttons, understanding that you can see the type of day it's going to be based on just watching it and being, patient and letting things kind of just tell you a direction. If it's not going to do that, this is not a tradable price action to me. I mean, maybe if you took this, rally somehow, like I said, if you were like somebody who scales in around a zone, maybe you caught a small piece of your scale in right here, front running 400. I didn't see big size sitting at 400, so I didn't see anybody trying to front run it. And, I could have been mistaken. I could have missed it. I don't see huge size sitting on the book anywhere down below. No really big bids. 20s is normal, 10s is normal. 30 up over ahead at 66. 22 here at 68. You can see the level twos. I see Leezy typing and then cutting it out and typing and cutting it out. I see you. I can see you typing. This is just not fun to trade. Not if, as I mentioned, just because price moves doesn't mean you have opportunity to actually execute your trade. Doesn't mean a trade happened. So if you could avoid doing dumb shit, you just don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. This is not conducive to proper risk management. It's not conducive to allowing yourself smart decision-making processes. We have to watch and see what price is telling us. Is this going to be a push out, or is it going to be a failed break once again? Are we going to break down, retest this trend line again, and then this time fail it? Like this time we broke through and rotated out. This time, are we going to break through again and run up into that previous day high? So many lols. You're just lolling all over the place. NVIDIA back to 105. Same deal as here. We kind of based out here when NVIDIA got to 105. Does it base out here again? And then if 105 does squeeze, do you get the same squeeze? If 105 fails, that could give you that retest failure. Good job, Leezy. Yeah, boy. Good stuff. I mean, that's great. 700 on a day like today, there's not a lot of opportunity. So you must, I don't know, what did you catch? Which trade did you catch that you were able to net 700 on the trade with micros? It's just sideways. Last night, yeah. Short of 60 at 10. At 9, probably here. Once it cracked through 50. So you went short through the opening range, pretty much. Love it. I love it. I love money. I like when everybody profits in the room. That's all it's all about. I don't have to do nothing. It'd be great to provide little education tips and tricks here and there. If I can't get a trade, at least keep you company. Very nice. Keeping it clean, keeping it simple. I like it. 105 didn't squeeze as much as it did before for NVIDIA. So, oh, here it goes. Pushing a little bit, trying to run its head. Failed it again. You're not getting the same type of really strong push off of here. You know, not saying that it won't, but you're not getting that same sort of push. This was a higher volume break. These two candles here, you can see much lower volume trying to push through it this time. Lower volume. You can see the volume on the bottom here. So if you hear me talk about it, it's lower volume. You can see it on the bottom. Over here, when you broke through that level, volume is much higher. Volume's up here. Obviously diminishing volume on the day as always, but it's a Friday. Another thought on that. That's the volume divergence here, if you will. Delta pushing higher. Price trying to push through this VWAP here. Trying to see if I see any size on this little order book here. Nothing crazy. Looks like it's stepping up, then selling. You know, you're not getting huge volume pushes. Delta's not going crazy. Russell's still on the lows. So S&P and NQ are relatively strong compared to the Russell. NVIDIA still not quite breaking 105. Could reject 105 and rotate back off of it, causing this failure to come in. Yeah, absolutely. The more complicated you make it, the more you see things that you don't really see, and you aren't quick enough to trust yourself. You wait too long for visual confirmation. 100%. That's why I always try to tell people to try and simplify it as best they can. I literally use four levels, right? I use overnight high, previous day high, overnight low, and previous day low. And then I have major structure levels that I include. And I include some, like I said, cumulative delta for some confirmation, divergence stuff. And then I use just watching order flow, right? I have these zones up here to just visualize where we are in relation to certain things on the chart. But for the most part, I'm not trading these levels, right? I'm not trading this high, and then I'm not trading this here currently. I'm waiting for my A+ setup so I can minimize my risk and allow it to go, right? I want to fail. I'm playing failed breakouts and mean reversion, right? I found that to be successful about 70, 75%, 80% of the time. So, because markets technically aren't trending all the time. If I could give anybody any advice, is this has yet to touch any other level at all, right? We've just stayed in the middle of today's zone. We have not breached overnight levels. We have not breached previous day levels. We are stuck tightly in between those two. We're like basically living in this, really tight zone, especially after the last few days. Like I mentioned, it's going to be sort of a resting type, inside type day because of the expansionary behavior early on in the week, right? You got huge 100-point move candles, right? Each candle was moving 100 points, and you had to recognize that, right? It was hard to limit risk. You were getting very spready, very scout, like very, you're going to get slipped a lot. A lot of things that could have gone on those expansionary days. Yes, you could have made a lot of money, but if you don't know how to handle it, you could lose a lot of money as well. So just note those things when you are noticing the type of market environment that you're looking at. This is well said right there. Nice little push side upside. Once again, you can see it here. As you start to base out around that 105 number, you can basically trade the NVIDIA chart on the NQ, right? This was 952, slightly delayed data, but you can see base out, breakout 105. You're 952. You're basing out here. You crack this high when 105 gets that crack. Now you're at 510 all the way up to 530. You're up 20 points on that move. Does it continue? Who knows, right? It could just do the same rotational move back to downside, but at least you have the idea of, okay, I could basically limit my risk to the VWAP and then be at even and starting to grab 20 points at a time on using that NVIDIA chart to your advantage. So note those things as you're kind of watching these charts and not executing. The ability to just sit on your hands and be flat it's an acquired skill as well. That's something that'll keep you more involved longer term. When your opportunities actually present themselves, then you're actually going to be able to make good decisions on them. It's almost it's one of the, I find that to be the most difficult part of trading is when you're sitting at the charts, not clicking buttons, right? Not clicking buttons. Do not click buttons if you don't have to click buttons. Sergeant Stahl. Hey, you. Oh. I got a little boy running around. He's going to pop in, I'm sure. Oh. Well, for me, like I said, I wait and wait and wait. Maybe this previous day high will give me my reaction the first time through. If I get up there, if we don't get there, we don't get there. I can see S&P's wanting to get to its previous day high, so maybe we catch up here. I want to check on the Russell. It looks like it's creeping to that opening range low. Starting to see more algo prints, mid-size size, 30s, 20s. 20 something. Anybody have anything that they're watching other than Leasy making $700, I think, on a Friday? That's choppy, sideways, range bound type action. Making that kind of money and locking out and going into the weekend is pretty good way to go about it, right? We're at 4 minutes till 10 here. I want to see if we can get up over this previous day high and then set up after 10 o'clock. So 10 o'clock, that could give me a nice idea for the, finally being able to take that. You can see rejection, rejection, rejection. That trend line really kind of comes into play right there around that overnight high as well, that 595, 600 level. If it gets into that 600, that's a nice area, a nice round number for people to want to reject once again, right? So I want to come push into it. I'll trail it. If it's going to be that immediate reversal, I'll take that trail quick. If it's going to be one of those I'll probably, take my base hit little failed rejections and then hope to get that bigger rejection and then follow through to the downside would be really nice. I got Maximus running around like a crazy guy. What are you doing in there? S&P's already got to the overnight high. I apologize. The previous day high, which you can see was reactive. Could we push up into 64, helping the NQ get up there? Or is this going to reject now and then be that point to return down to? Because NVIDIA's stagnant right here at that 105 area, 105.34. Selling point before was 105.40. It's trying to roll over from there now. Never quite made it to the previous day high on the NQ. I got 3 minutes till this candle closes. Give me a second. I'm going to walk away, and I shall return for 10 o'clock. Alrighty. 58. NVIDIA rejecting that, wedge high right here. You can see that area is interesting. Rejection, rejection, rejection. Potential breakout, maybe fail break of it. Rotating back down. Once again, 105 is going to be a key area for if it's going to accept back down below 105 and start to rotate. Unfortunately for me, like I said, we're not quite at the previous day high. We've never come into levels that I'm looking to execute on. So we're just still being patient with it, right? We're not getting that follow through either direction, which is not allowing me to maximize this. This. S&P's coming into that high, which would have been a nice little short for anybody who tried to catch that. Nice little almost 10 point move there. As always, Scrooge, always appreciate you coming by. It's okay to not have to execute anything on a Friday. If you had opportunities that you saw, or not, sitting on your hands, like Leezy said, it's a superpower to be able to not lose money, right? That's the goal here, is to preserve capital and deploy it when your time is telling you to deploy it, right? Develop your own strategies using our, education and levels and stuff like that. If you can develop your own abilities, you're going to have a lot better of a time moving forward, because you're going to start to really understand your dynamics and what you're looking for on a time basis. So it's 10 o'clock now. So if we do get up over there, maybe it's just wanted me to wait for my time to trade at hourly close. New hour here. We did close below 44 again. This 44 level has been so reactive. I'm not going to front run it. I'm not going to do it, but the 44 has been reactive. This was the high from 2 days ago. Is 558.50. So 558.50 is 560. Basically 2 days ago, previous day high. Oh, you got a truck?
I'm going to come in your office.
You want to come in my office? Okay, you come and stay in here. What's your brother doing? He's all right. He's fine. He's on the couch, right? Okay. Just try and be a little quiet, okay? I don't want to blow people's ears out. No yelling. Deal? Want to say hi to everybody? Come here. Come say hi. Say hello to everybody.
Hi.
All right. What are you saying? Be patient?
Yes.
Be patient.
Be patient.
Wait for your levels. Say, wait for your levels. Say it.
Wait for your levels.
Oh, Lizzie said, what's up, big dog? Say, what's up?
Why am I looking this way?
Whoa.
But why am I looking
Because the camera's over there, right there, and you're on the screen over there.
And why am I looking backwards?
You're not. You're looking over here.
No, I'm looking there.
That's because you're looking at yourself when the camera's over here, you see? There you are. So now you can't see yourself looking at yourself. Unless I do this. You see yourself over there now?
How did you do that?
So funny. You're a funny guy.
Can I come back there?
Can I go back there?
Yeah.
I can.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, put it back there.
Put it back over there.
Yeah. Whoa.
You're just jumping from side to side, screen to screen. We need to let this price get up over this green line, okay, Max? All right. You go have fun with your Hot Wheels. Have fun. Get us up over that green line. Yeah, you don't need this right now. They're the best, though. You're never going to be ready. If you don't have a kid, everybody always asks, are you ready? Am I ready? Am I going to do this or that? I say, the best advice I could give you is you're never going to be 100% ready. So when the time happens and the time is right, just do your best. Right, Maximus? Just do your best. Yeah, it's all really it is. And then it just becomes part of your normal every day. This price action just never wants to get to my levels, does it? This is a good basing pattern for it to be a bull push to the previous day high. Hopefully that we can get that. Maybe it'll line up with NVIDIA 106 quarters, and then I could get a failure of both. Good job.
How's the card gonna go over like this?
You got to set it up.
Set it up.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Lizzie. I try my best. I think everybody just tries their best. You know? I try to keep them involved in what I'm doing. I definitely want to pass this skill down. There's a lot of things that, not necessarily, if you don't want to trade, if they don't find a passion for it, that's cool. Same with sports. Like, I want them to want to do sports. I don't want to be the one forcing them because I spent my entire life forcing it. I've always... Yeah, good job. All right, here we go. Come on. Let's get this over this previous day high.
Let's see if who wins down the track.
My thought though is it gonna fail it or not? Is it gonna? I mean, we've been rotational today. I don't know if it's gonna be ready to be directional. Need that 94. That 600 would be nice. Hit off on 600. I want to see if there's a size sitting there at 6. There's size at 581. 63 lots at 581. So maybe it'll pull it up, get filled at 581.
Whoa.
I don't have 600 in the sights yet, but once I get closer to 600, then I can pull that size up and see if it's there. Yeah, we're not quite at 600 with the depth of market right now. Failing that on the S&Ps, I need it up here. I need to time it better, right? Timing is everything in this market. Oh, they're up on top. Just don't yell. Are you okay? Let me see your hand.
Okay.
You're okay.
I'm a little.
Oh my God, take off your hand. No, yeah, you're good. Just be careful, okay? Watch where you're running around. You're okay. Give me a high five. Take that hand. Give me that hand. It's okay. You're good. All right. No yelling. Yeah. If you're in the room, don't yell, okay? Traders like seeing you, but they don't like hearing you screaming in their ears if they're wearing headphones. I'm trying to see what's on the book up there.
Yeah. Race car. Okay, how can I get back out? Whoa! The car was straight to down.
Imagine that. Yeah, exactly.
Imagine cars.
I mean, I was 25, older, 20, 28.
And, Daddy, imagine cars if they're driving ourselves.
Yeah, could you imagine that, dude?
Yeah, when we're in mommy's car, it can drive by itself.
Yeah, it's all relative.
All relative.
You take anything, Ray, since that first attempt? Yeah, this is really like, I love this because not only, I mean, everybody, there's the unlimited upside potential, but there is that constant self reflection and understanding who you are deep down and being able to kind of fix that parts about you and kind of pull the bad parts out and kind of wash them out and kind of really, sort yourself out on a day-to-day basis, right? You really learn about yourself a lot when you sit in front of the charts all day and make decisions. Do your analysis, being patient. At some point, this patience pays off, right, Ray? At some point, you wait for your level to finally come in, you get your setup, and then if you hit it and it works, it's going to make you quite a bit of money.
I don't know how, but we're good at that. Whoa!
Still not close enough to 100 to get that level. See if there's any side. Like I said, 81 and it disappeared. Oh, there's 187 lots at 81. It flashes and goes. So 81 will probably be a magnet. Let's see if that gets tagged. And once 81 goes, then potentially we get our high and see if it'll squeeze through that. What was that high here? That was it right there. So we'll see if it gets back above it. Come on, hold that for a little bit longer, S&Ps. Get us over there with the NQ. If this is gonna be it, I got to basically within 20 points of my entry here, and we're within 13 points here. Just that little bit is all it takes, right? We're in this little chop zone here. This was explosive this morning around 3:30. Is this just going to fail right here, right now? Is this going to be the zone that it fails from? It looks like it. What a day so far. Just could not get to our level to make our decisions 2 times. It's not done yet. I don't know if we're, this is going to trap all day. But I like it on the S&P end where we're starting to fail it again. So it's helping the thought process out there. It is accumulating, right? So that's concerning. So if it does start to push up higher, we might have to wait all the way for that overnight high. Overall, I am very happy with just being disciplined. The more you can build your discipline, the better you're going to be. Long-term discipline is all it's about. Not that I'm afraid to press buttons, but I understand the market conditions and I understand my setups enough to know. This 544 level, though, is my favorite to talk about this week. I was talking about, look at that, wick above 544 once, twice, 3 times, holding below 544. You start to rotate back down, except into that purple box, start to rotate all the way to the lows. That's what I wanted to see, but I wanted to see it up, a couple more points higher. I wanted to see it push up into that, I would love to see the top end of that wick be that 593, 50, 600, front run 600 even, just barely make that 600. That is ideal for me. Still trying to hold that 544. You can see it dancing around 544. Bam, 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 bam. I bet you point of control is somewhere up here, 500. That 81 is, we're too far off of it. I can't see it anymore. That size still has not gotten filled from my understanding. It didn't quite make it. I guess it did there, but I don't remember seeing it get filled. 41s, 48s, nothing crazy. You okay, Maximus? Let me know if you need my help. Give me 1 second. I'm out at my level anyway, so keep pause. You want that? Let me know when you're done. Take your time, okay? Take your time, relax. This. Go ahead. That's okay. Take your time, buddy. 44 could fail. It is one of my key levels, so if it does give it up from there, I can understand. I mean, not trying to overthink it or anything like that, but I do think maybe if we get S&Ps back up over 60, push into here, and then 44 is eventually failed and we never make it to previous day high, then I can maybe look to see if that'll be a good short there. But I'm not looking to do that here on a Friday. I would like my A+ strategy to play out. So, like I said, at 44, so it's good to note that has continued to be reactive. That level right there. You can even move it up a little bit if you wanted to in that 48 quarters just from this wick test. 48 even. There's the retest of that trend line again, still holding that pretty strong, right? You failed it once, failed it twice, kind of bouncing off of it again. Just that 44 level acting, rejecting, that longer term level, those wicks. All done, Max? Oh, that's the NVIDIA rotation back. See if this... All right, coming, dude. Let me just make sure he's good. Give me a second. Huh? Okay, let me get you close.
Do you have your phone?
No.
Is your phone in your office?
No.
Okay.
Here, buddy.
I put it on.
Sure.
Yeah, first, and then underwear, and then pants, and then I'm ready to put back in the office. Please. Why do you put this on?
Because underwear.
The underwear undies? How do you say that? How can you say that then?
Okay, you put these on yourself? Nah, I'll help you. 1, 2. Good job. All right, good job, buddy.
How are they gonna come back over here?
I don't know.
Wow.
Okay, still just being patient, sitting on our hands. 10:16 a.m. here, Central Time. If you hear banging noises, it's Maximus playing with cars on the stream. We are waiting to see if we can get our previous day high involved. This is a very reactive level here. You can see the reaction we've had. S&Ps is trying to hold below it.
Okay.
Timing could be right when this actually gives up, right? This bottom tick that right there.
We can go through all the way up to the ramp. Okay. But that's hard.
Could we have to wait all the way until this previous day high gets breached and then this is at the same point where we kind of wedge out there? Could be.
Ready, set, on, car, go. Oh. That was good. Oh.
S&P short is appealing
Wait, guys.
because it is at the overnight high. I mean, the previous day high. It's at the top of that area. I still don't trust that it's quite ready to short yet, right? It's just not quite for my ideas here. Like I said, I want to get my levels to be appropriately targeted. This one here, we wanted to get the overnight load. We wanted this exact setup, right? This is exactly what I was looking for this morning, except for we didn't get to the overnight low. Everything that I talked about, right? We come up here, we trap some longs, come down, we stop them out, kind of front run 400, and then now we run and push to highs, and now that's where we're at right now. Same thing on the other end. Like I mentioned, does that look like a trap to push us downside? It actually does, but never made it lower. So we got a higher low here, another push up, still kind of holding this trend line. These are failed breakdowns of this trend line. So which one of these is going to be like the true breakdown? Maybe if we can get our previous day high tagged in the S&Ps, I mean in the NQs, because we did get them in the S&Ps, then potentially that could be an area for interest, right? And then we can actually finally get the rotation down through this trend line to be the true break of the trend line, true break of the low. Maybe then we can get follow through the overnight low. That's just going to be a wait and see type game.
Ready to go, workers? 1, 2.
Nvidia still playing with the 105.
Whoa! I see.
If you're watching and you hear little kid noises, there's because I have a young lad in here playing with Hot Wheels. If it bothers you, let me know. But I don't think I'm going to change anything. It is what it is. Gotta be dad, and you gotta be a trader, and you gotta be a streamer and a helper and an educator and all the fun things all at once. And eventually you'll learn how to do it all together. If that's not if something that you do on a day-to-day basis, you have to deal with kids and stuff, understand, laying out ground rules and playing your levels and stuff kind of helps you make decisions when you need to make decisions and divert your focus when you need to divert your focus. This is very flat price action, diminishing volume. Price is just giving up here. Looks like it wants to start to roll over. Nvidia breaking back down below 105. Kind of the 105 buyer gave up. S&Ps now looking to get heavy. You can see price starting to tick, a little bit faster on the ticks. See if there's any size that's kind of appearing here. I don't see anything on the book. Heavier delta. That's a good indication of sellers trying to step in. Is it a trap? Do we get back over the value area high? That volume node at 5. Look at how many. This is bound to flip to the point of control. 550 is getting very close to being the point of control if this can get back over it one more time. 544. You can see this little bit of like a head and shoulders type deal. But once again, I don't know if we're going to get the follow through or not. Because we're not at my level. We're not an area where I'm going to execute front run. I do like it on the 30-minute, the wicks of 44. The accumulation there does tell me a story of shorts, but it could dissipate really quick, right? This big, long wick to the upside could disappear quickly if it gets back up over 44 and pushes into that high, right? We have yet to tag off. For me, on a day like today, if we've never touched any of the levels, that's pretty much telling me that it's a choppy sideways day, right? You can see it based on the chart, kind of choppy and sideways, not directional. There's not a lot of really good information told. This does make sense here. Every time we've broken through the trend line, we've gone down 480 to 440, 40 points here. 450 to 420, 410, 40 points there. A 40-point break from 30 down to 490 could happen. Could come down into 480. Oh, you can hear me. Welcome in. Today is Daddy Day. Don't mind the Maximus in the background. He is just smashing cars, and if it does annoy you, then sorry. You're not smashing cars? Oh, you're putting them in the truck? You want to say hi? Grandpa's watching. You want to say hi to Grandpa? Come. Yeah, he's watching. You want to say hi? Come on. Say hi. Oh, say hello, Grandpa. When he comes into the stream, sometimes you got to say hello. Say hi.
Hi.
You tell him we're waiting. We're waiting. We haven't traded anything today because there's nothing to trade right now. You tell him that. Say, wait. Be patient. Say it.
Be patient.
Be patient.
Be patient.
Go play with your brother.
Ow.
Go tell Enzo to have fun.
Enzo, have fun. Enzo, have fun.
Sometimes
Cars on watch. Until people buy. Oh, the cars are getting on the truck. Oh,
once again back here in that 46 to 48, that I can think of this going to turn into the point of control here. This you can see this big high volume node right there, 550 even right here. This higher volume node. If we can get through that, that probably pushes up to the high. If you can't get through that 550 volume node, then expect that rotation back to the downside. You can see price is starting to speed up a little bit. You're getting a little bit more whippiness in the action. All these other candles were moving very, I don't know, more diligent. They were slower. You could now start to see dancing around. We're about 5 minutes till that Euro close, that 10:30 close. So you could get this 5 minutes of whippy price action, maybe some trapping, maybe some profit taking, and then you get some possible continuation. If we go back to last Friday on this chart here, last Friday around, let's call it 10:30, 10 o'clock, I called low of the day. 10:30, we started to get an explosive move to the upside on, that was downside pressure. So we've been moving upside. So potentially we can maybe see if we can call the high of the day at 10:30. Let's wait and see if we can get back up over here. It would be nice if we can get to the previous day high, get high of the day and reverse at that 10:30 night number. Would be a really good kind of play out for me. I think that, you trap some longs with that Euro close with some profit taking or some, more people trying to stay long over the week. I think after last weekend, people are not going to want to be in positions overnight.
Hey, look at the cars over there. They
Wow.
can hang.
They can hang.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, they're just off the edge. They're the same car.
Yeah, because.
That 550 is still holding strong. This volume node here just pushed up over it. Pushed up over it.
Because they're the
Reject
same
it, reject
car
it, reject it. If it's going to squeeze it, I want to see that squeeze. You can see
They're
Delta
the
go.
booster car.
The booster cars, yes. I want to see the squeeze over that 550 and hold. You can see that pressure pushing up into that level. Up, popped up and failed it. Popped up and failed it on heavy Delta, heavier Delta, not heavy per se in relatively speaking, but wick that high at a volume node. A lot of orders there. 4 more minutes till this close. I would expect some profit taking to take place coming into this close. That 10:30 number, 10:30, 11:30 Eastern. I want one more squeeze up. This one more leg up, kind of like this. You break that high of this wick at 550. You squeeze up to our previous day high. Then maybe we can get our setup at that previous day high. That's where I expect more of a failure to come into play. I want to extend the right line so I don't have to keep playing with it. There we go. It's holding. It's holding. It's holding. That 44 number is still being the area of interest. That it's a zone, right? I always talk about zones. It's a zone. It's a zone. Make sure you know that it's a zone. But it is a very reactive level here. Up over this 550, this wick here, 550. You're going to start to see a more expansive candle above it, I believe, if you get over this wick. If you trade that basic price action type squeeze move, then you can capitalize on it kind of quick and then take it. But like I said, I'm only trading my levels. I'm trading away from them. So that was a nice little pop from 550, pushing back. If it doesn't hold, then you can anticipate this eventually to give up and start to rotate the other direction. I did talk about, like I said, last Friday, we called high of the day around this time. You start to see larger prints getting put and then front run. Today, not so much with the large prints, but the 550 number, 560, that area, in that area here, value area high, you just saw it, point of control flip to 550. That yellow line, point of control, most orders executed at that 550 mark. It's the most interested area of the day. More people are trying to execute at this 550 than anywhere else during the day. That's something to note, to keep in the back of your memory banks, so you can say, okay, at 550, price wants to be there. There's a lot of executions, there's a lot of exchanges going on there at that 550. Normally, I'll still execute around this time, but I still don't have it up to my real area. That 546.50, you can see the reactive level there. 550 is the point of control. When it flips, it tends to either rotate. If it flips to a high point, you tend to start to rotate off because a lot of sellers have now finally built into enough positions to go that direction. If it's going to be a continuation trend day, then potentially it breaks that level and continues on and continues to rally. So that's something that you're going to note and watch. 1 more minute, and I'll be right back. Good job, Max. Keep cleaning.
When are you gonna come back? Are you gonna be? When mommy is coming back, I am cleaning up this really fast when mommy's coming. Oh, not that car. Discard, 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 discard.
Good job, Max.
Discard.
There's the break.
That's really hard.
Alrighty. Like I said, that level is probably the sell point. I still haven't gotten to my area. It's 10:30. You're getting the selling coming in from that that euro close. Profit taking. People are not going to want to hold into the weekend like last weekend's panic on open from Friday into Sunday. People aren't going to want to be trapped in that. So I would anticipate there to be some profit taking, some cautiousness for people who hold longer term.
Why is there erasing on here?
Because there's a sticker.
Can I use it?
It's on there. You can't take it off. Once you take it off, it's not going to be sticky, dude. So that S&P short from 53.60 made a lot of sense. You could see wicked above it. Same exact kind of price action as here. I talked about how if we get to this level, you could technically look to short it. 53.60 down to 50, 10 points right there. S&P's is $50 a point. So there you do your math.
That's the supercar. Let's get the supercar out.
There's that supercar. So we're breaking through
This is the
VWAP.
supercar. Daddy, look on here. That's actually the one is on there. That's the one.
That's the one?
That's the matching one.
It's blue, though. You got to get a green car, dude. I'm just going to sit on my hands today, I guess, since I'm never going to get to any of my levels. Talking through the 44 level, I did talk through this breakdown here. I did mention that a break of this level probably leads to about a 40-point move. You got from 45 down to basically 500. Now you wick 500, so that's a 40-point move right there. So 40-point break here, 40-point break here, 40-point break there.
Where can we get the car? Where can we get the car?
Go look in your cars, see if you can find one. I don't know if we have that or not. You got to look and see. I think you do have one that's similar. Can this now do that next rotation? So how this has been going, right? We've been breaking down 40 points and then rallying out, making a new high. Breaking down 40 points, rallying out, making a new high, breaking down 40 points. It's a slight high. This could be a slight new high, right? We're going to maybe break down, get another 40 points, but if we can front run it.
This is the one, Daddy, but it's a little similar.
It's similar. Good job. front run that level. If it gets to, I mean, not front run my level, but I'm going to be shorting the previous day high. If we can get up over it, come back down, fail it, rotate down through this break 44, there's a lot of accumulation that happened there to now have a real true sell through that level. That's my thought on that. That's all I had to say about that.
So there's too much cars in here.
Okay,
So
take them out.
No, I'm gonna wave them in this car. And
All right. As I mentioned, that 1030 number gave you a little bit of reaction around there. Still kind of stair-stepping to the upside. Still waiting for that previous day high to come into play, or previous day, or overnight low, so I can get an execution. The fact that we haven't touched any of those levels tells us we haven't gone anywhere on the day. It's been very tight ranged, especially after the type of week we've had, very expansionary. So kind of needed a rest day and inside Friday, a summer Friday where people are going away for the weekend or whatever they're doing. They're just not going to be as heavily involved as maybe a regular other day. Yeah. Just keep your attention, wait for your levels, wait for your personal A+ setup, whatever it may be, and then just continue to execute that patience, establish patience, establish the ability to not have to hit buttons, because when you do hit the buttons, you want to be right a lot, and you want to be right, bigger, so you can, secure bigger wins and start to take payouts and start to pass these combines and do some more stuff like that. Oh, the feeding pack. I like that bounce off of VWAP. It makes a lot of sense, both here and there. Relative strength in all of these names, NQ, S&Ps, and then Russell is still on its lows, so could still help push us up. Let's see what's going on with the SPY. Kind of gives a little bit of a different story than the NQ. Microsoft came right back down towards the lows. I could like to see it back up towards 406.15 again to see maybe we get another seller come in there. Continue to keep it a rotational day. So you can see Microsoft here rejected that 406 level three times.
It's two of the same letters, but they're in white. But these cars are not in the same white.
That's really good analysis, right? They're both the number 18, so you recognize that, but they're different colors, but they're the same size. So that's really good analysis. I like that. That's going to help you when you do start trading. You can analyze things. NVIDIA still pushing that level there. Apple has been grinding to the high side, but we've been very diverged from Apple for the year, so I don't take it as heavily weighted.
And where are we going to put this cups? In some more cups.
All right, let's see.
Some more cars.
I don't know. Keep getting them. Keep going, buddy. Delta's not as heavy, right? This seems like a strong candle to the downside. You'd expect a very aggressive selling. Yes, it's starting to, but it's not as aggressive as maybe some of these candles. So I don't know if I trust this as a true flush or if it's going to be now, a secondary bounce of a VWAP. Just you can see how fast this candle moves relatively to some of the other ones. This is pure live market data here. So when I switch to this, I'm getting that good delta on good market data. I'm getting good level 2 data on some of these orders here. There's 500, nothing crazy on the size. I think there's more algos right now, because the exact distance away from each of these orders, you can see it here. You can see when it's like bookmarked like that, those lighter orders just that far away from the actual bid and ask, it tends to be algos, just kind of driving price up and down and around. These aren't like true, big buyers and sellers. When you start to see a big red block, 40 lots, something where it's huge, 40, 50, 60, 100 lots, that's when you start to see price move to those bigger, 80 lots, 70 lots. You're starting to see things over those sizes, maybe some bigger players. So, and you want to see if they'll stay there. This is a 30 lot that kind of staying at that level at 513. So I'm watching this to help make some decisions as well. Broke through VWAP. Pop right back over it. Do we reject it? Do we continue downside? Do we get that move that we wanted to get from the overnight low? I think that'll be very reactive. If we can get back to the overnight low, I really do think that a sweep of 400 gives you a true push to the high side. That could be very reactive. NVIDIA is still just grinding down, and NQ and S&P is still up higher than the opening range, while NVIDIA is down well below its its opening range. If you kind of want to take it that way, NVIDIA is down 0.2% ish on the day. It's negative on the day, and you can see up here we're positive on the day. Does it have the same number? Let me see.
That one is
The 1 is the same, but the 0 is not the same.
That one is not the same, but this one are the
NVIDIA is down almost at 1%,
the same.
0.75%.
Let's see if there's another one. There's not more of them.
No, I'm sure you can find more. Well, while we're still diddling in the middle here, and I did talk about if that 50 level turned into the point of control and we flipped it, then there's a good chance that that 46 level gives up and you start to rotate back down, that 40-point pullback.
This one was the same, but it's not attached. Tell me what is that saying?
That says 44.
44.
And you can watch this setup.
He can do a double back.
Another area that's interesting when you start to get these trend line breaks that are going to hold, and if you're going to get a secondary breakdown. Like I said, I'm not trading these. I'm just using them as guides to kind of give you a key to kind of what you might be seeing with this price action going forward. If we can see this now on the upside, right? Something where you're here. You want to see that into that previous day high. Obviously, that's expansionary there. It's more of like tightening up.
The opening chunk card,
Wow.
they just can crush on. It cannot be crushed on a merchant truck.
No, it cannot.
It cannot. The blue one can be crushed. The blue one.
So this is the general trend, right? This up and to the right, this pushing up that way. If this bottom end can hold, then you rotate back up through, maybe up into that green line there. Like I said, we could get that 40-point pullback, push up through, then get the failure up at that previous day high, which also coincides with the downtrend of the that longer-term downtrend we've had since the CPI beat a few weeks ago, right? So that's what I'm looking for as far as that's concerned. So don't, take this with a grain of salt, right?
This one can be not even crushed at. This one can go under monster truck. That one can go under a monster truck. But this one cannot. It can be crushed forever there.
Crush forever.
Is this gonna be
Sorry,
crushed
everybody. Still just
Daddy,
Sunday.
Daddy, this card is gonna be crushed.
Yeah, that's the crush one forever. Yep.
That's the crushed one forever. So this, Daddy, I see something there. Daddy, I see something on this car. It's a wheel for you could drive this car, but now it's all broken.
Oh, it's all broken. Yeah.
When this,
Oh, monster truck crushed it.
yeah.
Yeah, that happens. Like I said, reminder. We do have that boot camp coming up, 30 days, 10 mentors, everything you need to know, everything you could possibly need to know about day trading to make you profitable
It's broken.
is here. It starts Monday.
It's
If you want to get involved and you need to get a 6-month membership, then I will provide you my 10% off code. 1 second, Maximus. I'm talking to people. You keep quiet for a second. What's that? It's just a crushed part. You're good. Like I said, you need a 6-month membership to get involved with the boot camp. Click over the link in the chat, in the bio of the YouTube, in the one that's pinned to the top, and also within the chat on YouTube. You can click there. Get yourself a 6-month or better membership. Use my code PolicingPips for 10% off all memberships. Get yourself access to 10 traders teaching you over the course of 30 days, starting Monday, starting with Deck himself, Mr. Millionaire Stock Trader, one of the biggest trading influencers out there around, always willing to help out all of his traders, everybody in his room. And like I said, not only are you getting the boot camp with that membership, you're getting that 6-month access to everybody that you're talking to. So, if you find something that you want to really harp on that we teach during the mastermind, you're going to have that access for 6 months after, for years after, and you're going to be able to learn and grow over that period of time and start implementing and start noticing, okay, hey, that's what he said, when he's talking about this. Or, hey, with me, why I wait for certain levels, why I wait for certain divergences, what kind of fundamental stuff am I looking at? What kind of longer term levels am I looking at and if I start mentioning it more and more and more, then you're going to start to see it more and more and more when you come out here during that 6-month membership. You're going to be able to reflect on it and be able to get it. Well, maybe. Mommy's on her way home, so wait for her by the door and she'll open it for you, okay?
And then we will go to the pool.
You got to ask Mommy. And just got to meet his teachers today. So you got to go there I don't know what time you got to go there, but I'll be at work.
Mommy's going to come with me to the pool.
I don't know. Ask Mommy when she gets home. She'll be here in a minute.
Her's going to come with me to the pool.
Here's that boot camp lineup. You got AK, you got Deck, you got me, you got Kush, Jay Dunn, Zach, Muhammad, Steven, and others. And if you just want to click in, like I mentioned, if you do join, fill out that thing on the bottom. Send me a message on Tradecaster. Send me a message on Instagram. If you join using my code PolicingPips, I will get you a free bag of coffee, a free mug, and a free shirt to go along with your membership. So that's another little added benefit to joining up and getting involved. So don't be afraid to join in, get a new membership. If you sign up for any of the memberships using my code, send me that DM, be it in that form here. I click the link. At the very bottom, there's always a form of all my blog posts. You can fill that out, say, hey, I signed up with your code. I'll verify it, make sure everything lines up, and then I'll allow you to pick what roast, what grind, what mug, and what shirt you want to get, and we'll send that out to you, okay? Max, no yelling, okay? Can you check on Enzo? Go check on Enzo for me. Make sure he's good. I really think that we can get up to this previous day high, and I think we can get a reaction from it. There is a chance that we don't, and we get to this 46 and fail that again, so just understand that as well. And it's okay? Stop being loud in here, please. Okay?
That one just fly over this car, Dad.
See if this
Daddy,
breaks
Daddy,
to the
watch
upside.
this, Dad. That's just landed like a chicken off.
Well, while I just sit on my hand and do nothing, if anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, anything, let me know. I am going to kind of go through everything. As I kind of sign off for the day, I'll stay on, until my normal time, 11 o'clock, about 15 more minutes. Maybe we'll get up to that level. Maybe we won't. If I start to see us approaching that previous day high, I may stay on a little bit longer. And whatever, do what you want. Say, there he is. Hey, Scotty, welcome to 3160. Shh, Maximus, stop yelling. Stop yelling. Yeah, I saw it. Hey, that's green, buddy. Well done. I'm playing this fall. I'm also not. My arm hurts quite a bit, but I am going to start playing with the HPD team this fall. I was supposed to actually throw on Sunday, but I am not because I can't get off work. We have nobody to cover, so I have to work Sunday. Next week is probably my first game back. Next Sunday, not this Sunday. Next Sunday. Look at you playing. You'll be fine. You play every day with the kids, so your arm's still loose. Your swing's probably still there. You'll probably do just fine. Something about baseball. When you got it, you got it. You're never gonna lose it, man. You're probably gonna go out and feel like crap, but play well. Make a few nice plays, get a few hits. You don't need to steal bases. 25 pounds heavier. Yeah, nothing's gonna feel the same, but you're still gonna go out there and be a stud. That doesn't go away.
Whoa, that just got out of it. Where are you? Wow.
Quiet. Max.
Yes.
Quiet time.
The mommy comes there.
I would love to be just playing second base all the time. They want me to pitch and all that stuff. I'm gonna do it. Don't know if my arm's gonna last too long into games. Yeah, I mean, as I start pitching, maybe I'll start doing better.
Mommy's here now.
You can go check, but I don't think she's here yet. But keep watching. Once I throw a few games and my arm breaks through that scar tissue from the Tommy John surgery, I'll probably be better off. Hitting and fielding, I feel comfortable with. I can play.
He's not here.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm probably not gonna be living mid-90s anymore, but or 90s at all. But maybe if I start doing some more throwing, more long toss stuff, we'll see where it ends up. As long as I can throw strikes and get outs, and then when it comes to hitting and fielding, I could always go out and field ground balls, make plays, have good at bats. Not worried about that, especially the competition level. Just go out and don't try to do too much. Just like trading, don't try to do too much. Wait for that pitch and hit it. Maximus, be quiet, please. I'm sorry, I'm yelling in everybody's ear here. I'm being daddy daycare for the time being, and he's chose the loudest toys of cars to smash around. So if you do hear the loud smashing, I apologize if it's bothering you. Got to date daddy first, trade second. Actually, you know I'm on the TV in the other room. Can you see me? And go see if you can see me on the TV. Can you see me on the TV? Go see. This is still not conducive to very clean price action, right? I tried. It didn't work out. He left and came back. No. Sneaky. He's out. All right. As long as it doesn't bother you, I don't care. Either way, there's no trades to be had here. Price hasn't touched any of my levels, which means it's completely inside today, completely sideways, completely chopped. I always mention that if we never really get to my levels, then there's really not a trade to be had for me. Yes, you can. Go over there and look. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so funny, right? Oh my God, how did you do that? You want to see yourself again? Scott's talking about you. He said he likes when you talk about the TV.
Oh. You like when I talk about the TV?
NVIDIA, more of the same kind of sideways. We've held below the 105, now into 104.50. There's your NVIDIA day today. You look at Microsoft, it's completely sideways. You got NVIDIA, right, like I said. And then you got Meta sitting on highs. Amazon also sitting on highs, not quite breaking that level. Microsoft has has pushed up. If it could push up again into 406.15, maybe we could get our price to get to our previous day high at some point here. Does that lead to anything tradable? Who knows?
Buy more cars.
Based on the price action today, if we can get up over that previous day high, it kind of keeps us in this little rotational channel, and it could still continue stepping upside. But if I could just catch a little piece of that breakdown from the failed previous day high, that would be ideal for me. Microsoft getting a nice little pump there. Don't know if it's trustable. Palantir Technologies AI partnership with Microsoft, a potential game changer. Nothing huge there. Let's see if this is that. Benjinga. Let's go. Financial Juice. Any news? White House Energy Advisor. We will continue to replenish strategic oil reserves. Rebound following a tumultuous week. Don't have any real information here that's going to be giving us anything. NASDAQ down 5 million imbalance. This is the market on open. 5 million negative sell side. Got to watch these market on open orders. Then we'll have market on close. You'll look for the MOX later on towards the close of the day. There's that 44 level getting retested once again. Do we have enough juice to get us to that previous day high? This is another, hold that spot. Hold that spot. Do we make a new higher high, which then allows us to rotate off of that higher high into, no shaking. If you're gonna shake, take it to your bedroom. Excuse me. Awesome, brother. Is mommy at the door? Go check. She's coming. She's coming. You gotta go check again. You don't just check once. Make sure she gets home safely. Nothing yet, Max? No. All right. Okay, you're not going to check anymore?
No.
I still don't have much here. You can see how choppy this price action is, right? You have a couple good bounce plays here. Is this a break, retest, rotate lower? Potentially. Yeah, NVIDIA has, Microsoft, everything's just been range bound, kind of sideways all day. NVIDIA has been holding below 105. 105 has been really the key point of interest for the day. If you look at it here, this is that 105 level in the middle. 105 right there. So that's your 105. You can see bulls, bears, bull, bear, hold it. Now you're kind of holding and rotating down.
And finished. Jump it out.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You can see that clear as day here. There's the break of that secondary downtrend. Now it's kind of more confirmed. Let's see if we get through the low. About 4 minutes left in the hour. I will stay on a little longer. See if I get a little more price action. Like, if we get closer to this overnight low or closer to the previous day high, I'll linger around for a few extra minutes today just to see what kind of action we get. I feel like the way that price has developed, that it should stay rotational, that even if we do get through the overnight lows, it probably doesn't continue on. Although I did mention last Friday, any sort of flush of 544 should push us down to 277. So 544 down to 277. That white line is possible. That's really good analysis on that there, Scotty. I like the way that you're thinking with the higher lows and lower highs there. There's a divergence in that. No, that's helpful as far as the divergence. It's also interesting to note that the NQ is relatively strong compared to the NVIDIA name. So if NVIDIA ever does start to catch a bid and NQ is already leading us higher, then potentially that if the NVIDIA starts to push up into highs, that NQ also pushes up into highs, right? So there's that sort of divergence. If NVIDIA starts to just drag us down and drag us down and drag us down and pull us further, then potentially you wait for that breakdown. Go ahead, keep checking. I want like 1,000 monitors. It's all. I mean, realistically, I need one more. I need one more up. I want to mount one to the wall over my computer screen, or if I get a second larger size monitor. Okay, buddy, good job checking. If I get a second larger monitor, then I can just use the small monitor for just the streaming information stuff. But I want one. I want to be able to go to these charts without having to do anything, because you can see how heavy the delta was once this broke. That heavy delta confirmed that breakdown, right? Heavy delta, price confirmed, made new lows. So aggressive sellers stepped in, continued that price to the downside. It's very helpful to see that, see these large orders also. 500 still has a larger order up there at lingering at 500, so maybe a retest. We did get that point of control to flip back to 500 after coming back here. 550 was that area where it flipped to before. But many more orders were filled at 500 just now than the 550. So as that flips, it does give you information of how many orders are getting executed in those areas. And then I used the volume nodes as targets, right? So this is going to be a target here, 470. That's a target if it breaks to get tagged, which it came really close to and didn't quite hit it. So if these higher nodes start to get tagged and filled, you're going to start to see flush of them, rotate to the next one, rotate to the next one. That's how you start to read the order flow a little bit on these. If they hold, then you start to wait for the rotation to the next one to the high side. So that's where price wants to be. That's where it was executed more than once. Executed here. Watch these for targets, watch these for areas of interest, right? You're starting to see that price hit off, break down, hit off here, push up into that level. Now you see pop, 11 o'clock. Price action now, hourly close, down into that lower area, getting diminishing price action. You don't see that type of behavior in this chart. Not as much. Wow, that's cool. Nice creation. Normally I'm on here till about 11. I'm going to stay on for a little while longer. I just want to see how price reacts. There are so many tools available. There's a lot of information to be processed at a time. You can definitely have paralysis analysis. I can find trades in these areas. And like I said, I talked about these break retest of 44. Boom. I mean, this white line clearly became an interesting level to target. And once you get that heavy delta off that level, this is what I look for as a delta divergence type trade where you're trying to make new highs. Delta doesn't follow through. You start to push down with delta. It basically confirms this downside pressure, right? You reject that. Once you reject a key level and also, break down through that wedge, clean, very clean move there. That is something that you can use to your advantage for those types of trades. I like to use them at my key levels. I don't want to be diddling in the middle. We have literally gone nowhere on the day. Technically, we're holding the opening range high at this point. Maybe it rotates higher again. Maybe it rotates lower again. But at the end of the day, we're basically even on the day, right? The opening range, pop, and, we've flushed it, popped it, came back to it. Nothing crazy here. Still have yet to come and touch any of my 4 levels that I need to execute on. Wanted to front run this 400 here if you could. I wasn't going to. Obviously, I did not. kind of just staying true to my strategy, staying true to my levels. I think that Fridays do get rotational. They do get trendy. It depends on the week. We have been trending on Fridays here and there. This Friday, looking for that one good trade. Still potentially could come in if we start to get heavy flushing of this opening range. So I'm going to watch it, right? You see now Delta not following through. Watch this level here, this 470. If 470 cracks, watch the Delta to see if the Delta follows through on the aggressive sellers, or if this is going to start to tick up and start to show a buyer here at 470 and rotate out. But this is a key area of interest. Opening range high, opening range low is the blue line. I don't have big order sizes that I'm seeing currently. Time and sales showing decent size getting filled though at that 486 up to 478, 46 all the way down to 478. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, around 100, 150 lots getting filled in this area, in that zone. All it's saying is those are hit on the bid. The green means it's hit on the bid. Red means it's hit on the ask. Doesn't really indicate directionality. It just shows size. It shows interest. If you're hitting the bid, technically you're probably looking to get long. But if you're sitting on the bid, if you are the bid, you're getting filled up, potentially pushing deeper down. Maybe you're getting, stopped. Who knows what's going on with that thought process through it. Let's see what the Delta is showing. Delta is showing flattening of Delta. Price is trying to hold the opening range high. Trying. Not necessarily succeeding yet. Trying to break through it now again. Delta still not getting aggressive on the sellers. So there are not a lot of aggressive sellers at this spot. If it breaks through the low, maybe it does. Maybe that seller starts to step in and you start to see more expansive candles to the downside like these. This is... Don't do dumb shit Friday here. So we're just kind of learning about some of these extra tools that I use in my tool belt. Russell has made new lows on the day, and now it's attempting to do it again, pushing to the lows. We haven't made new lows on the day in the S&Ps or the NQs. We're still holding the opening range high for now. Who knows what happens after we break 470. 470 could give you a nice little sell side flush because of this volume node here, right? This heavy volume node. And then a depth in the, we'll call it a trough. And then you have this here. So that quick little move there. I'm on the MNQ on this. That's probably another reason. It's very similar anyway. There's that crack. Yeah. I have, those are all in the background. Why are you throwing that, Max? Come on, dude. Those are all in the background. Like, I flip back and forth to them. I watch them when I want to see what's going on at my levels. I would like to have them up at all times. It would be nice, but I, can't have them up all the time because I have two monitors, and I have the bigger monitor split with the TradingView and my TopStep X platform. And I would like to have my third monitor is just streaming stuff currently, but I would like to have more of my other, platform stuff, maybe my Bookmap and whatever on that side. Still kind of S&P still relatively strong, holding that opening range. Both names are below VWAP. S&P short was a really great idea up there at 60. Again, when that retest happened at 46. Potentially could have used that to your advantage there. This type of idea tends to lead to some bounces. I don't know if you see Max in the background every once in a while just jumping around going crazy. Oh, yes. Let's see. Beautiful Friday out here in Texas. I got work today got to be done here in a little bit, so I will have to cut off soon. Just note that you are going to have to be patient. If you are just going to be waiting for our levels, maybe just lock it out and be done for the day. I still think that there is opportunity if we flush that overnight low or the previous day high. There's really just, you could see just a lot of sideways chop. This is something that we'll avoid. Obviously, we did a really good job of sitting on our hands today, not executing. There's just something about a Friday where you get greedy, you feel like you need to hit buttons, you get involved in this, you get involved in that. You try and go short, it traps you. Try to go long, it traps you. You overtrade, and you go into the weekend doing dumb shit. I want you to avoid doing that. I want you to go into the weekend saying, okay, I did a good job of not doing dumb shit. I sat here on my hands. I watched the charts. I understood a lot about some of the dynamics that were going on. I understood why the day today was what it was when it was doing, when we were watching. Just learning about price action on specific days. If you got no trades, you got no trades. That's a good idea to get in the good habit of, hey, I didn't execute today. I had a couple down days, could have came in today and looking to FOMO in and really hammer into things that weren't my A+ setup, and could have got lucky, could have made some money, but it wouldn't have developed a good habit. I don't want to do things just because I'm down or whatever. I just want to make sure I'm still executing good to my strategy, which keeps me around long term. Yeah, if you go green to red to green, lock it out. There's really, especially if you've sat on your hands all day and you've done a really good job of kind of waiting for that next setup. And if you get it, if you want to hit it, do it. But like I said, just understand that this late in the day, a lot of times setups aren't going to be as ideal. Most of the time, once you come into this time frame, the volume is going to be even lower. That's going to help a little bit with the fail breakdowns, right? Because you get a fail break and then it might start to stair step its way back up. That's good for our idea. But otherwise, it could just break and grind down to 277. Yeah, usually, like I said, most of my if I have a great day, I'm done in like 15 minutes. If I have a really good setup. Otherwise, it's kind of just patience. Wait. What's going on, dude? Did you check for mommy again? Let me check on her. She's not here yet? Oh, okay. I got to sign up. It used to be. Sell them and go away used to be a thing. I think more so when there was not as many electronic trading. Some of these people still, with the advent of the electronic trading and all that stuff, less pit stuff, it's become more accessible for people. So I think there's higher volume since that's kind of been implemented with this online world of trading. There is still much lower volume, still moves that aren't as clean. So I usually don't do as well in June, July, August. Those are like down months. September through December are usually like better months for trading conditions and understanding price movements. So because you just have the true participants, people aren't going out to the Hamptons. People aren't going on vacation as much. Kids are in school, so they get back to the charts, get back to hammering into things. Yeah. Kids go back to school, dad goes back to work. Really, that's what it comes down to. All right. Let's see. I'll stay on till 11:30. If we don't get anything by 11:30, then we'll be done for the day. I appreciate everybody coming by. Remember to sign up for that boot camp if you can. Get a 6-month or better membership to get access to that boot camp. Not only will you get access to that 30-day boot camp, 10 different mentors, everything there is to know about trading. You'll never need another boot camp again. Everything from trading, from equities, options, small cap, large cap, everything the tools you need, futures for me, futures for Caesar, YB. All these guys are here. They're going to be providing you great value day in and day out during these 30 days. And that 6 month to a year to more on those memberships. Use code Policing Pips. Don't forget, get yourself 10% off. That 6 months not only gets you that access to the boot camp, but obviously it gets you that 6 month membership and beyond. So now that you've had that 30 days to start implementing a lot of what you learned and start to learn, you can pick the brains of a lot of these people because they're going to be in here. They're going to be on these charts. They're going to be in the stream. So you're buying access to their time, their knowledge, their entire database of what they've been doing. And also, if you decide to go ahead and buy a membership at all and use code Policing Pips, send me a message. I'll verify that you actually did, and I'll send you a free bag of coffee, a free mug, and a shirt just as a thank you for coming to support the mastermind. It's the first time I'll actually be teaching my entire strategy, like from beginning to end, everything that I know and learned from trading Forex all the way through being a licensed equities trader through T3 and all that fun stuff. So everything that I know and kind of have built up, this is the first time I'll be teaching, and I'm going to follow up. If you guys do get a membership, you'll always have access to me, and you'll be able to get way more value out of kind of learning it in a structured environment. And then from there, coming into the stream every day, understanding why maybe I knew that today was going to be something like this, just based on where we opened on the price action kind of day. I wanted this down a bit lower, but hey, waiting for my A+ strategy on a day like today on a Friday saves me from burning myself time and time again, right? So overall, just understanding all this, get yourself a Tradecaster membership, get yourself a 6-month one to get into the boot camp, 30 days, 10 mentors, just unlimited information. That's all it's going to be, just a plethora of information. You can ask questions. You're going to be able to follow up, like I said, with that 6-month membership, go into all these rooms. If you make notes and you don't have a key to like what you may have one more question that you need to see live or something that you need to happen, and you kind of ask and you get through it, then maybe at that point, while you're in these rooms, you can start to really implement and really feel and understand, okay, this is where Deck's going to say this. This is where Policing Pips is going to say that. This is where Caesar's going to say this. And then you start to develop your own strategy and build your own thing and build your own portfolio. And long term, you're going to be way better off by attending this, having that membership, being around like-minded people and helpful individuals who actually want to do this helpfully, not just because, right? daytradingcoffeeco.com. Head over there, check it out. Make sure you get yourself some coffee. If you get that membership for the boot camp, I'll send you a free 12-ounce bag. I'll send you a mug and a shirt. Like I said, as a thank you, I want to make sure I get everybody into some of the coffee, as well as get the education that they need to be successful long-term in this trading game. I will stay on here until, oh my goodness, what is this? A donut. Oh no, that's your donut. Get me one, please. Officer Pips needs his donuts.
What donut do you want?
No, Mommy knows.
Glaze?
Either that one that you have, or if there's coconut or blueberry. Mommy knows. Mommy knows. Donut, man. NVIDIA looking like that 103.66 level is about to be approached, waiting. We're kind of like sitting right up over it. If 103.66 gives up down to 103 even, could help our cause here to this overnight low. Like I keep mentioning, I've mentioned it like a few times here. Haven't quite got there yet. So, that breakdown of this open, we're in the middle of the opening range, right? So price has gone Nowhere today. That blue box is where we opened on the day. Whoa, toasted coconut. Thanks, Maximus. Appreciate it. Donut of the day, people. Enjoy your Fridays. Enjoy your weekends. I'm going to stay on here for another 15 minutes, and then we're going to cut and just get off the charts. You know, no trades on a day is still a good day of discipline, understanding, you know, I didn't have A-plus opportunities. Yes, there were trades to be had. There was moves, but there were not A-plus trades. So just because markets move doesn't mean you have a trade. And yes, it's true. Cops love donuts. Discipline equals freedom. Extreme ownership. You're just meeting your teacher, buddy. Yep, I'm gonna go stay till 11:30. And be done.
So you can have your cold brew until then.
What?
It says Dunkin', you can't have it.
Come here. How was that? Was it good?
Really good.
All right.
She say
For an hour, you heard that, huh?
what?
Scott goes, oh, for an hour, because Enzo said for an hour. You can hear him in the background. You wiping your face, dude? All right, good job.
You have a lot of minions right here. You tell them.
I have lots of toys in here.
Minions.
Yes, many minions.
Have fun. Okay, I guess when you come out, you can have.
I'll be out in 10 minutes. Thank you.
You got it.
Yep. Donut time to finish the week off right. First losing week of the, unless I find a banger, but I don't see that coming in the next 15 minutes. Seemingly dead flat price action. Volume is gone. Slightly down week. Still all good. I'd rather end the week not executing on some subpar trade. I don't want a revenge. I want to be here. I want to be as disciplined as possible. Learning to have my edge be there when it needs to be, and if it's not there, it's not there. Honestly, realistically, if I wasn't streaming, I would probably set alerts and walk away from these charts, because everything's been sitting in the middle of this range the entire day. Coconut. If you had a good week, if you had a bad week, it's up and down. It's one of those weeks where price action changed. It got expansive. It got a little whippy. The timing just stepped off slightly where I was a little bit off in timing. All of my ideas were correct. I just maybe could have switched down to micros and, adjusted that way. But Maximus, calm down. Any week that you don't blow up accounts. Why are you here still? You just go eat your eggs. You gotta go eat your eggs. What do you got on the screen?
I want this and this.
Oh, okay. Bring it with you. Any weeks that you don't blow up accounts, right? Or you stick to good discipline, or, it's all about trading for the next week, for the next day, and trying to keep your payouts bigger than your investments, right? Overall, understanding market conditions, adjusting to each little nuance that has kind of changed over the week, right? Like I said, everything that I did this week was exactly the same as I would do in other weeks. It's just that timing was slightly off, right? Yeah, lessons learned. if you ended green today and and you were up small, that's disciplined. If you had strategic entries and plans in place, that's disciplined, right? If you didn't just revenge trade just to do it, then maybe that's not more patient. Maybe that's not, just because you made money back doesn't mean you did the right things. But if you had good reasoning and a good plan behind your trade, then that's a good reason to execute, right? There's difference in that, with a good setup or something where you're like, okay, this and this and this is lining up. I see this coming to play. And then it happens, and then you execute it. That's great. Win or lose, that's great. You planned it out. You did what you needed to do. You had good execution. You had a good plan. That's all you can ask for, win or lose, right? You just have to do that time and time again, because then your winners will start to establish, to become bigger and bigger and bigger, start to outweigh those small losers, or those reasonable losers, I should say, because any loss is bigger than you would like it to be, right? So, like I mentioned here, early in the day, if you go back to the beginning of the don't do dumb shit is frowned upon. Losing is losing. It happens. But I hate losing myself. That's why it's hard sometimes. But excuse me. What I talked about earlier here was I wanted this plan to play out here. I wanted this trap, which we got. I wanted this breakdown, which we got. We just never got to the entry area that I needed to get to, right? Everything happened exactly, right? We pushed up, trapped into the highs, got some longs involved, stopped these people out here, tried to stop these lows out, and then front ran 400, and then we rotated right back on up to that 44 level that I was mentioning over and over and over again. So that's what I was looking for. We got it almost to a T. I just never got triggered into an entry. And that's all it comes down to, is having an idea of this is that side. Now, if that side were to have failed, if the trap is now the other way, you're looking at it this way, right? You're looking at it where, okay, we trapped some here. Then we trapped some here. We pushed up, swept these stops, got some shorts involved, and then this follow through. Then you expect that overnight low to break again. But to no avail. It's just one of those days where you're not getting that heavy follow through in either direction. So just understanding your thoughts and where you want things to go, or what the bigger players are doing and how you can kind of tag along with that ride. Yeah, that 18,544 to 546 level right there, that zone 550, that became the zone of the week. Realistically, probably could have shorted it today again, like I was talking about doing, but I did not want to deviate from my plan on a Friday, right? I talked about it a couple Fridays ago, where I was talking about the S&P levels, where I said you could short this here, you could short that there, and it was beautiful, perfect. And then people are like, why are you not doing it? Because it's not part of my plan currently. If I add it to my plan, then I'll start to do it and start to execute on it. I start to notice that it's working time and time again. Maybe I'll start to adjust, right? As we approach the key levels, maybe I'll find the new key level that's near my level and then execute around it. But the reason I have the interest in the spots where I do is because that's where there's high interest on the day. That's where there was a previous day high is the end of the buying for the day before, right? So that's where sellers finally stepped in and said, no, we're not going higher than this today. An overnight low, same deal. It's where buyers stepped in on the overnight, where there was interested buyers to continuously buy in and overwhelm the sellers at that point. So there's a interest at these levels, so I could get the reaction I want to get time in and time out, right? If I don't have those trades on those days, then it is what it is. About 4 more minutes left in this stream. Seems like we're going to linger around this middle for the rest of the day. I'm going to cut off here. Anybody got any questions, comments, concerns, anything that they want to go over besides this right here, right now? Any questions about the boot camp, what you want to know about it, how you could get involved, the giveaway? If you do sign up for any of the memberships, let me know that you signed up. Use my code PolicingPips. Get yourself a mug, a free bag of coffee, and a shirt on me if you do sign up, so I can get you guys involved. I think the boot camp has value in its own. I don't have to sell it any further, but just as a secondary thank you, I want to spread the word of the coffee company and start to build that and grow that. So if you are in the boot camp, use my code, show Deck that I got, provide some value to his boot camp as well, besides my teachings, then I can at least get you those things. So pretty cool. Yeah, go have some fun, play some video games, enjoy your weekend, everybody. Until Monday. Monday starts the boot camp. So Deck will be teaching starting Monday morning. If you are going to be there, make sure you have a 6-month membership. Use code Policing Pips. Click the links. Go to the pricing. Get yourself a 6-month membership. Build up. Get that boot camp. And start your next leg up in your trading adventure. Other than that, anybody else going once? Going twice? I think that's all I got to say about that. Until next week, I'll talk to you guys later. Get that boot camp. Deuces.